but just send me a prayer and I'll spread my wings in the sky. Let's go, wave like you see me now. Ooh, yeah, oh no, we're flying high. Let's go, wave like you see me now. Wave like you see me now.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. You should be able to hear me, but I'm not seeing the camera properly. Hold on. I gotta go to camera, that, front, back, done, and click on that. Click on that. There we go. Can you hear me now? Audio is on. Can you still hear me? So I switched to the back camera. I don't know if that helps. I like the back camera better. Test 1, 2. Can hear you. Good. Still, let me know. 803 says, yeah, keeping busy is one word for it. Trying to stay out of trouble is another one. So tonight we're in the garage. This is my headquarters for all my toys and stuff that I get into. And the reason we're in the garage tonight is I'm working on a different setup in the studio, and I still have to configure a few things with the TriCaster, the system that I use to do my regular streaming with. So it wasn't ready for tonight, so I just said, hey, let me try something different. So I want to try this phone setup, and I'm viewing it on my iPad. So it seems to be working. So it's going to give me a kind of a test with StreamYard using the phone and the iPad. So if I'm out in the field or doing something different remotely, then this might be a way to go and shoot some video and do some stuff. So let's see, who do we got in the chat? What do we got in the chat tonight? We've got a few folks. We've got Jose Benito. How are you? California. Hope you're staying safe out there. I know many places in Canada have already locked down again. So I don't know how you guys are doing in California if you're coming out of lockdown situations with this whole COVID fun. But yeah, in New Brunswick, we're not locked down where I am. I'm in the east part of Canada. And there's a few cases today. I think there were 6 new cases in New Brunswick. So still they want us to be careful, and they're not locking down, but still we have to wear masks and all that stuff. But I know in Quebec and Ontario specifically, Ontario had like 1,500 and something cases today, and they locked down for 28 days. Toronto, Mississauga, whole area there, big area where I used to live. All the stores, malls, everything is closed down for 28 days. So very limited access to things unless it's, like a grocery store or something like that. So yeah, they're going through it. That's for sure. Hey, Brad Egan's in here. Got your first snowstorm. We got a rainstorm today. Right now, though, it is starting to get some flurries. So the rain is turning into some flurries, but all day it rained. And if that would have been snow, we would be buried right now. But yeah, it's been pretty good weather here in New Brunswick. All weekend it was about 5 to 6 degrees and sunny, so that was pretty good. Let me see. CN 8800, my friend John. How are you doing, John? John's in New Brunswick as well. Janice Lala's here. How are you, Janice? Let me just go down this chat real quick, and then we'll get into some stuff. Guitar Man 45, how are you? So let me make sure my phone doesn't slip off the little tripod thing there. It's kind of a weird setup. All right, so hopefully it's okay. We're gonna swing with this tonight, folks. We're gonna swing with this. So you rode the motorbike last week, now snow. That's what Brad says here. Well, yeah, I put my bike's back there. You can see it. It's been stored for winter. Basically, I put the fuel stabilizer in it and do all the stuff that I do for winter, and usually put a cover on it. I took the cover off tonight, so there'd be something interesting in the background. But yeah, I haven't ridden that, but I'm riding that other thing here. That's weird. Side by side back there. Been doing a lot of that. You can go out in the trails in the woods and stuff, and even though there's mud and water or whatever, that thing is just made for that stuff. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, no motorcycles, that's for sure. Let me see what else we got here. Very good. So I think I'd like to start off today, this show, with sending my condolences to Ben Coombe and his family. As most of you know, Ben from YouTube, obviously, and Canuckwood Guitars, or his shows that he does, and he's always in our chats and stuff. But his some of you probably know, and most of you know, and by now, that his mom passed away last week. So sending out condolences to the family, and I know it's a really tough time for them right now. 2020 keeps just hitting us with whatever it's got. It'd be nice if it slowed down a bit with all this crazy bad news, right? So I know Ben's going through some stuff, and I want to send him my best wishes and heartfelt condolences to him, because that can't be easy. Ben was really close with his mom, with his dad. The whole family seemed to be very close. So yeah, tough situation. So if you can, man, if you're out there, and I know that you guys will reach out to him and give him your best and tell him we're thinking about him. I'm sure he'd like make him feel, somewhat comforted that he's got a whole community behind him, and that care for him as well. So yeah, it sucks, man. So with that being said, let's go back here. Zach Thong's in the house. How are you, Zach? Nice of you to make it in. Let me see here. Guitar Man says, here's Guitar Man's comment. We do the same. Have dirt bikes. Have 80 acres. Oh yeah, if you've got that kind of land, you got to have some dirt bikes and some toys to get out there and enjoy. The thing with COVID, it really changed the whole landscape of like things like motorcycles and mountain bikes and pedal bikes and ATVs and all that stuff. Sales are through the roof with that type of stuff, because people couldn't do anything else for the longest time. They could get out in nature, and they could get away from people and just do some stuff like that. So sales of those things have been crazily, like, insane. Even the side by side that I had to order that back in August, and I just took delivery about a week ago, and they told me that they're having trouble getting any stock in for new products, and people are asking about them and want to buy them. Now they're starting to buy snowmobiles, and that's going crazy as well. So I guess people are looking for things to do and trying to, get in a different headspace when they're in these times of lockdowns and craziness. So that's one thing that's kind of hasn't been hit as hard. And the same thing goes with guitars. Guitar sales have been through the roof this year, as most of you know. It's hard to get, like, if you're looking for something specific. I've been looking for that custom shop Strat, specific color, specific year reissue for the neck profile. And man, I've only seen a couple pop up, and I just waited too long. I should have, when I say waited too long, I was just waiting a couple of days to make an offer on it when I saw, knew exactly that I wanted that one and could work out a deal. But even 2 days is too long now. It's something like that is gone pretty quick if it's priced right. And the prices haven't gone down. I thought by now we'd see the used market, the prices come down, and there'd be a lot more stuff available in the used market, because people are looking to sell some stuff and get some extra cash in times if they're laid off or whatever. But I'm not seeing that in the used market right now. I'm just seeing pretty stable as far as prices go, and the inventory pretty limited, I would say, unless you're looking for something that's pretty general that there's a lot of out there. But if you're looking for something more specific, custom shop or something like that, it's not that easy to find. And if it is out there, they're asking a mint for it. So it's definitely interesting times. Friends and family came over. Guitar Man says friends and family came here to the camp during the COVID thing. Well, yeah, if you've got a camp out there in the woods, that's a good place to be. So what else this week? Last week, basically, I trying to finish up the studio build. I did build the templates for the show and got everything as far as the colors. And I was going to do a test on Thursday, and I was going to try to test to go on Facebook and YouTube at the same time and do some stuff. But I just ran into some bugs, and I was like, no, forget it. I'll just wait to do the testing next week, which is this week. So hopefully I'll be able to do some of that if I can work out some of the bugs in the system right now. It's nothing crazy, but I've had a few little issues with it, so I'm just need some time to work those out. The other thing that came out last week, and was a surprise to me, I wasn't aware that it was coming out last week, and it came out of the blue. I think it was Thursday at noon or something. We got the email, the Helix update. So now Line 6 has updated their Helix product and their Stomp product to 3.0. And it's a pretty cool update. It's got some really cool features. Got a few new amps in it. It's got the Fender Princeton amp in there. We've got a couple of diesel VH4 amp profiles or amp models that are very, very good. I'm playing with those right now, trying to tweak them and get them, to see what they're all about. That Princeton is very, very good. They've modeled that amp very accurately. It reacts very similar. If you've ever played like a Fender's type amp, like a Twin Reverb or a Princeton or something like that, they have their own characteristics. And the way that Line 6 has modeled them is it's pretty close. It's really good, really, really good. So that came out. The other thing that they did in the new Helix update is the way that you can save favorites. So let's say I've got a favorite chorus pedal and I use it all the time in all my presets. And that chorus pedal, the parameters, I set them a certain way, like the mix a certain way and the high end or whatever it is on that preset that I set in a certain way that I really like. And it's like I use it 90% of the time when I use that effect on any patch that I create. Well, now you can save that as a favorite and it comes out as a list of favorites. And when I create a new patch now from scratch, I say, okay, I need a chorus, and I know the chorus that I like to use is that, and it's got those settings. I just go into my favorites folder, click on it, and it puts it right there with all the settings already made and everything. So it makes it a lot quicker if you're doing that type of thing. So your video is down to 140. Oh, really? Well, that's interesting. Because I'm using my phone and it's using Wi-Fi. Usually the Wi-Fi in here should be very good. So just give it a second and we'll see if it comes up again. Let me know. It should be fine. Let's see. Stock is low for sure. I ordered a set of Fishman. Oh, Fishman bass pickups. Cool. Back in June. Still not in. Wow. Every month I keep getting told next month. That is crazy. Wow. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. Let's see. I hope we can, well, hopefully by the end of the year, if you're lucky, you'll get those pickups. Do that. Yeah, let me know in the chat if the video is choppy or whatever. And if it is, then we'll move it into the studio. I can still broadcast from there, but I'll have to use the phone and hopefully that the feed will come in a little better. It should come in good in here though, because we're right next to the basement. That door right there goes right into the basement where the router is. So just changed it to 720. There we go. It might fluctuate again. I'm in the garage, so it might have some issues, but I just changed it to 720. So go in your settings there, Brad, and see if you can change it to 720 or 480 or whatever. It should be fine. But yeah, if you do have an Helix or a Stomp, the Stomp is really cool now because what they've done in that update for the 3.0 is you used to be able to put 5 blocks or 6 blocks, sorry, in the Stomp Max, and blocks are like amps and cabinets, effects, that type of thing. So now they've upped that to, I believe, 8. So that makes it a lot more flexible. If you had a patch that you created in Helix and had 8 blocks, you could actually transfer that whole patch onto the Stomp. And then you could use the Stomp as your gigging thing and bringing it to friends to jam or whatever. And you'd have all your patches set up that way pretty good. And you'd have a lot of flexibility in how many blocks you can put in there. So that's kind of a really cool update on the Stomp. And if I had a Stomp for a while and I did sell it because I wasn't using it because there was obviously no gigging, and I was going to use it when I got an offer to do a gig here in Grand Falls at a festival this summer, and that got all canceled. And I had bought it because I wanted to use it if I went to a friend's to jam or did a gig here or there or whatever. I would just bring the Stomp and my Fender Tone Master amp, and that would be my little setup that I would bring with me, which would be very light and very easy to tote around. But wasn't using it because gigs are all canceled and everything, so I did sell it, and I just use my Helix all the time. But if I do end up, because here in Grand Falls, I do have more friends that are, well, I have more friends obviously here that I grew up with that play music, and it's easier to get together and jam and stuff. So if that starts happening in the next couple of months, I might buy another Stomp, and that's the way I would use that. I would set up the Stomp with the presets that I have set up in the Helix for the most part. And then that would be my little rig that I could bring with me, and I could just plug that into a PA, or I could just bring my Tone Master amp, plug into that, and I'm set to go. I'm good. I just bring my Les Paul, amp and that stomp, and I've got everything I need as far as tones. So that's good. Oh, we've got Why Not Music Den. Oh, cool. That's a new name. I don't think I've seen that, but welcome to the channel. Merrill J 720, he says, yeah, I mean, this is kind of a test here with this phone and in the garage, so I don't know. You might get some fluctuation in the quality, but overall it should be pretty good. So we'll run with it and see what happens. If you do have any questions here in the chat about anything, just put them in there, and if I can answer or we can have a discussion on it, I will definitely do that. There was no real set plan tonight. It was kind of like, let me try just broadcasting from the garage with this little iPhone, iPad setup just to see how good that'll work. And so no real set agenda or anything like that. But it's pretty cool that I can control the whole StreamYard thing from here, and I can bring up your comments like this. So John says he's 5 minutes. You're only 5 minutes away from a jam. Exactly. Back in Ontario, I was more like 2 hours from catching up with people that I knew, or I had to go downtown Toronto if I wanted to jam with Neil, my old drummer from Smeer or whatever. So it wasn't practical. So here, you know, I can go down the street just my 2 doors down. One of my neighbors, he's a really good drummer, and John and Brad probably know him. His name is Marcelin Rioux, and we grew up as kids, and he's a little older than we are, but he still drums and stuff. And he found out that I live here, and reached out to me and said anytime you know want to get together and do some jamming that he's in. So you know, I could even set up in my garage here if I wanted to and have him come over with his drums. And it's one of those things. There's a lot more flexibility here to do that type of thing. So I'm looking forward to doing maybe something like that in the future. And just coming up with a good little setup that's easy to bring around with me and not too hard. So let's see if we've got in the chat any more people here. Yeah, that's cool. All right. So Brad said, yeah, he played with Marcelin, the guy I'm speaking about, the drummer. Yeah, back in the day, Brad, when we grew up as kids here in this neighborhood, you know, we had a handful of musicians that everybody kind of knew who you know, oh, Brian plays bass, and Sean plays bass, and Brad plays bass, and this guy played guitar, and these 2 guys are drummers, and everybody kind of hung out, and it was a real community-based type of feel here. And it still is that way, just there's no places really to play anymore like there was when we were kids. Like there used to be venues, there used to be, you know, down Broadway here in downtown, it used to have like 3 or 4 bars that were just places you could go and play and have a gig. Here now today, it's not that same situation. There's a few little places, and one of them you can rent out type of thing and do an event if you had to, or if you wanted to. That some people do that, but getting together with friends at their homes and stuff, there's a lot of people still do that. I guess not right now with the COVID situation, not as much, but it is more common here for folks to do that. So it'll be fun. I must say, yeah, John knows him too. Yeah. Easier for you to go to his house. He has his own little studio practice room. Yeah, that's what he told me. Like I actually met him at the dealership for the ATVs and stuff when I was doing some stuff, getting some paperwork done on that machine when I was buying it. I actually ran into him, the drummer, Marcelin, at that store. He was actually buying an ATV, and got to talking with him, and he did tell me that he's got a cool little setup at home. So I'm sure we'll be doing some stuff together for sure. And it's nice to have a drummer that close, because one thing that I hate, not that I hate doing when I'm writing music and recording music, is the drums, because I use a program, Easy Drummer 2 is what I use for the most part to do all my drums. And it's a great program. I mean, I would highly recommend it to anybody that's out there doing music, that's recording their own stuff, has their own little home studio, whatever. Easy Drummer 2 or Easy Drummer 3 or something like that. They have a version 3, but I use version 2, and it is feature packed, and it sounds like it's real drummers playing. They recorded real drummers in real studios and everything, so it doesn't sound like a drum machine. It actually, it's really that good. But the problem for me is when I'm writing a riff or whatever, then you've got to go in and put the drums together and slice and dice, and okay, I want the snare to hit harder on this beat, and you have to, kind of program that ahead of time and get all that set up. When you've got a real drummer there, oh, that light's kind of freaking out, don't worry about it. But that, if you've got a real drummer with you, you can just jam your riff and he can play along and come up with parts and stuff, and then you record it as you're doing it and stuff. It's a lot better for me. The feel of it is a lot better that way. So that might be a real bonus moving down the road here, once I get back into recording my originals and things. Let me just fix that light. All right, hopefully that, I think I got to get a new bulb over there. It's kind of weird. But if I can, once I get started again in the recording process, maybe I can have him in, or I can go to his studio and we can do the drums there, and I can bring the recorded tracks after, put them into the DAW or the studio here, and kind of start to build that way. That would be a lot easier for me, and I'd like to do that. So I don't know. I'll probably reach out to him soon and see if he's willing to jump in and do some stuff like that. I'm sure he will. I think he'd be excited to do that because he seems to be looking for people to play with and jam and stuff. Let's see. Janice says, I'm going to be on my local virtual open mic tonight. Ah, okay. He's playing my video and I will be on the show with StreamYards. Oh, that's good. I'm not familiar with local virtual open mic tonight. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's a local show in your area and you're going to be on. That's awesome. Well, that's good. Hope that goes well. Send us a link and we'll have a look at it. Let's see. Brad says he's quite technical. He really prefers chart out as plays more. Yeah, I know he's known for playing stuff like Rush and that type. Like he's a good drummer and he's played a lot of technical stuff. But I'm sure if I play him something of my music, it's not that crazy technical. And it's more groove oriented, I think he'd be fine jamming along to it. Or if he wanted to make it his own thing and had parts that he wanted to bring in, I'm totally willing to collaborate with anybody when it comes to that stuff. And it might be very interesting. It might bring a whole different flair to the music that I write, having that different input in there and kind of that skill set. So, but we'll see. That's another discussion we can have moving down the road. We'll see what happens. It's just an opportunity to do more stuff. Hey, there you go. Guitar Hacks in the house. I hear you about drums. I have some odd time signatures on some of the tunes. They're hard to program. Well, I think programming drums in general, especially if you're a guitar player or bass player or something like that, you're not really a drummer. It can be fun because it's new and it's something different, but it's not something that I want to spend a whole lot of time doing. I'd rather spend my time writing riffs, coming out with parts, as far as guitar and bass. So having a drummer to come in and here we go, here's my parts. Let's see, what would you put on top of this? And how would you approach this groove and stuff like that, where they know what they're doing and they're playing it live. And, I don't have to press a button and say, I need the snare louder here. He knows. I can tell him, okay, let's amp it up on this side and bring down the tempos here and maybe put more velocity on these cymbals in this area. I mean, these guys are, especially a guy like him, he would know exactly what to put in there. So that's a possibility moving down the road. So how are you, Guitar Hack? I hope you're doing well. I know that you're probably in lockdown mode now. I think today was the first day that Toronto and your area went into that lockdown zone. So I don't know if you're still working or if they closed it for 28 days at your work or what, but interesting times, that's for sure. I still really want to get that Strat before the end of the year, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm just not seeing anything come up on the market. And I went to Long McQuaid I go once a week because my friend basically runs the place. He's a good friend from high school. And I always go in there just to chat or, spend an hour just kind of shooting the shit with them and stuff. And every time I'm in there, we look at the Long Island McQuaid database, which is Canada wide, and we focus on just custom shop, 55 to 60 reissue, white, relic, whatever. And there is nothing. There is one, but it's white with gold hardware, and I'm not big on that. I'm not big on gold hardware when it comes to a Strat. So that's not going to work, but he's constantly looking for me. And the cool thing about having that relationship with him is even though it's not in stock, he's willing to order it from anywhere in Canada. As long as it's a Long McQuaid that has it, he's able to ship it from the store, because they do, between stores and stuff, they do transfers all the time. So he would be able to bring it in, and I could have it for 30 days if I wanted to, and just play it. And if it wasn't what I wanted, then I could just bring it back, and he would just ship it back. So they do that all the time. But here in Grand Falls, it's a really small store, so they're not a store that caters to custom shop and things of that nature. They get more the American tellies and Strats, yes, and they get a lot of Mexican stuff and stuff in that price range, because that's what this area really I guess buys or can afford or whatever. So when it comes to a custom shop item, he has to basically get it from another store or order it directly from Fender. And that, it's not like before. When I lived in Ontario, I would just go to Cosmo, as Guitar Hack knows. You walk into Cosmo and you've got access to pretty much anything. It is insane how much stuff they've got there, and it's all everything from the lowest end to the highest end. It's all there, and you can actually sit down and touch it and try it. And if it's an amp, you can turn it on and play with it. But if you're in a small community like I am now, where there's only that one store, and it's very much caters to a certain demographic as far as what you have available in the store, then it makes it kind of difficult if you're looking for something specific like a custom shop. So but I'm not complaining. It's good that I have a music store here in town, because a lot of places don't even have that. They don't even have one music store. So let's see. Can you do me a favor, Brian, and call Cosmo? They keep asking. I might call them on what is it? Thursday is their Black Friday, their big sale that they're having. But now with lockdown, I don't. Well, it's probably all online, I suppose now. Maybe I'll give them a call on that day and say, hey, remember me? I'm still looking for this elusive Strat. Brad says no more Ezzies. So for those of you who don't know what Ezzies is, Ezzies, as a kid, we grew up in this community here, Grand Falls, is a little town in Van Buren, Maine, and it's right across the border here. As maybe a 20-minute drive for me to go there, and it was like the place to go when we were kids. And it was only just a little small shop, like on the main street there. And when we're talking about Van Buren, Maine, it's super small. You can Google it and you'll see what we're talking about. But it was the only place really in our general area that had anything available as far as music equipment. But they would get stuff like Charvels and Jacksons and things of that nature, not the high end like custom shop American series, but they had some I guess imports and things of that nature. My first real bass, I would say, the Charvel bass that I bought, was there. And I remember walking into that store and just looking up there and seeing that on the wall, and like, oh my God, it's a Charvel. And back then, we didn't have internet or anything like that. We had magazines like Circus magazines and Hit Parader and that stuff. And you'd look in those magazines and you'd see like your heroes and stuff, and people that like rock stars that you follow and all that you listen to or get their CDs, and they were all playing these types of instruments. And we never saw those instruments in front of us to actually pick one up and play. So when we walked into a place like Ezzy's, which is, like I said, really small, had maybe, I don't know, 30 guitars on the wall, that was it. But when you see I saw that Charvel bass, nice white bass, and I was like, okay, I love that thing. And I was working part-time at a grocery store back then, and I was saving my money, and it was like insane. And I bought it, and I had it for a long time. I actually, when I moved All right, can you hear me? Test 1, 2. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know. Test 1, 2. Come on. Let me know if you can hear me. I don't know why that happens with the mic. It's just kind of weird. Yes, audio is good. All right. I don't know where the audio dropped, but anyway, I was talking about Ezzy's Music Store, Van Buren, Maine. Google it. It's not there anymore, but there might be some old images or something, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, it was like the only music store in our area back then, and that's where I bought my real first bass, which was a Charvel. So I don't know where the story got cut off, so I'm not going to go through the whole story again, but needless to say, it was a cool little place for us to go and buy some stuff. All right, working good? Cool. Bent Tom's in here. How are you, Bent? We got Tom. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's see. Let's see what else we got in here. Again, if you do have a question, just go ahead and post it in there. I think that building burnt down. So John says he thinks that building burnt down last year, the one that we were talking about, the Ezzy's Music Store in Van Buren, Maine. Possible. I don't know. I haven't been to Van Buren in like a long time, and we can't go there now. We can't cross the border, like because of COVID and stuff. It's all closed. Because our border here, the border from Maine. If I leave my house right now, I drive maybe 10 minutes and I'm at the border of Maine, and you can go to Maine, basically. But right now, that's all closed. But from what John says, there was a big fire there a couple of years ago, and that place where Ezzy's was located burnt down. It's totally possible. Totally possible. And we used to go to this place called the Yacht Club. Sounds really really chic and rich and everything. The Yacht Club in Van Buren, Maine. That was like a teen dance area where on Saturday nights it was like the place to go. Well, one of the places, I guess. And we would go there, and there was some interesting characters showing up at that place. But it was some memories. And I'm sure some of you remember that place, or if you're from this area anyway. But I remember one time, me and a friend of mine, who's since passed away, his name was Marcel Ouellet. Some of you guys will know him. But we hung out all the time, me and him. We were just really close friends. And one time we went there, we weren't driving. I think we were 15 years old or something. So we got a ride there from an older friend or whatever, and he dropped us off there, but he didn't stay there. He left. So we were on our own at that point. And this is basically, we're in US, across the border. And it was just me and my friend Marcel when we got out of the Yacht Club at whatever, 1 a.m. in the morning. And I would say that place again is about 20 to 30 minutes away from Grand Falls, where I'm living now, where I lived as a kid. And when we got out of there, we had no ride back and stuff. So we were walking home. So we walked across the border. I don't even remember, I don't think he even stopped and said, "Hey, I'm Brian and I'm from Grand Falls," or they didn't even stop you at the border if you were walking across. You just walked across. And we were walking home on the highway. It was insane. We tried to hitchhike, but at 1 a.m. in this area, there's not much traffic, and if there is any traffic, nobody's stopping to pick you up at that time. So we actually walked home. We got home I can't remember. It was the sun was coming up, I think, at that point. But we had drank, obviously, so it was one of those nights. And yeah, quite the journey back home from the Yacht Club. Now there's a memory. Brad remembers the Yacht Club. It was crazy. All right, so let me see here. Okay, cool. Let me know if the mic goes out again. Just give me I'll try to start in December again and get those originals finished up. The ones that I do have most of them done already, but I just need to finish them. and probably try to record some new stuff. Oh, now it's frozen. That's weird. Now it's froze up. Give it a second. See if it unlocks. Let me know if it's okay, if it's working. I don't know. Kind of weird that it wouldn't be. Let me do this. Let me try add to stream. Let me remove this one. Can you hear me now? Oh, hold on. All right, let's try just doing it from the iPad. I can mute this one. All right, let's see what happens if you do that. Leave studio. There we go. All right. The camera angle's not as good, but at least it's working. Right? Somewhat. There we go. Alex Radford, how's it going? Oh, where's the camera? Oh, the camera's on this side. Sorry, guys. Try to get this angled up a little bit. Let's see if that works. Let's do that. Is that better? Good Lord. Problems tonight, folks. I don't know why, but let's do that. There we go. It's the garage episode. What do you expect? Garage days. There we go. All right, cool. Alex Radford's in the house. Good stuff. Again, for those who, I'm sure everybody here knows about Ben and his mom and stuff. So definitely send him a message. Let him know you're thinking about him. He lost his mom last week, and that's not a fun thing to go through for sure. And I'm sure that they're feeling it this week for sure. So definitely send him a quick message if you have a chance, whether it's an email or something in YouTube chats or whatever, and let him know you're thinking about him. And we look forward to having him back and wish his family the best. Let me see. Let me just close this phone here. Right there. Cool. Let me see if I can go on YouTube and see my channel from here. That'd be kind of interesting to see if that works. And I'm live there. Cancel that. All right, cool. I can see it. That's good. All right. Cool. The other thing I was able to get out and do for the first time in a long time is go see a hockey game. Over here, hockey's big, and it hasn't been all canceled because of COVID, so you can still go see. Here they have a junior team, they call them, and pretty good hockey actually. It's not bad, and they're still allowing people to go, and see it live. You have to wear a mask, and if you're sitting whatever area, you have to kind of distance. So if you're with your family or something, you all sit together, but there has to be a couple of seats next to you that are empty, and then the other group of people or whatever. So they're trying to do that, but there isn't any cases here that we know of here in Grand Falls. So there we go. That light back there is really bright. It's probably annoying to some of you guys there, but we'll work through it. There we go. Man, I wish I could see any sports. I know, right? Yeah, everything is shut down, but here, a little local town or whatever, little local team is still able to play, and they play once a week usually. So it's nice to be able to go out and actually do something like that when we've been not able to for so many months. It's crazy when you think about it. Paul Lou, hope you haven't been banished to the garage. Yeah, it feels that way, right? No, it's just that I wanted to test this little setup anyway, and my streaming setup in the studio in the basement, which is right next to me actually. I was doing some configuration with it and stuff, and it's not well. There's a few little things I need to do, and I just figured I'll just stream from here tonight. Still do a show. It might buffer a little bit. I don't know because I'm in the garage, but you know what? Let me go back into the studio with this setup because it might be better. Hold on. Let's see what happens. There we go. You can see the garage a little bit. See, there it is. All right. Let's go back into the studio with the iPad. Let's see what that works. Now we're back in the studio. So I have to figure a way to put this here. Hold on. I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to try and do here. Hold on. That, and we're going to go here. If I can find the stupid link. Where's my link? Oh, right here. All right, that's good. Test 1, 2, test. Test 1, 2. And I'm going to remove this one. There we go. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Let me know if you can hear me now. We are streaming with the regular, well, we're streaming with the GoPro, really. We're really switching things up tonight. Let me see, where's that? There we go. Cool. All right. You should be able to hear me. Should be able to. There we go. And there we go. Rick says, number 1. That means you can hear me. And we are back in the studio, out of the garage and into the studio. Interesting. It's cool because I can log in from my iPad and then switch to my, I guess, computer system and everything here. So that's okay. Sounds great. Good. Yeah, because I'm using a good mic, a little bit better camera. The iPad mics and the stuff like that are okay, but they're definitely not what this thing is. But good. We're back for a little bit anyway. What time is it? 8:47. We'll go for a little bit longer. If you guys have any questions, again, just put them in the chat and we'll deal with those. I don't know if I should log this out or not. I don't want to drop the stream. All right, well, we'll just leave it. We'll leave that for now. Stafford Music Studio, how's it going, my friend? Your studio? Yeah, thank you. I'm still working on it, but appreciate your nice comment there. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I've been watching. I try to get your live shows are a little harder for me to get now because of the time difference where I'm at. For those who don't know, here in New Brunswick, it's an hour. So if it's 11 Eastern, it's really midnight here. And Stafford's goes on at 10 Eastern usually. So that's 11. So yeah, by that time, depending on what I'm doing, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to zonk out, depending what I did on Friday or whatever during the day. But always catch the replays if I don't catch you live. That's for sure. I really enjoy the show. But I do try to get on as many chats and as many other folks' shows and channels as I can on a regular basis. So
once we figure out the other stuff here with the TriCaster, where I can actually bring in people and some guests and stuff, that'll be fun too. So we'll be trying to do that, bring some people from the community on, and have some fun with that, which will be coming fairly soon. So let's see. So Stafford, have you sold the PRS yet? I always bug him about his PRS that he waited forever to get. I always tell him to sell it, but he'll never sell that thing. It is a nice guitar, that's for sure. But he waited long enough for it. Let me check something here while we're on the... Let me see if I can get rid of that. That works. I got a lot of stuff here that is running StreamYard. I don't know which one is streaming and which one is just getting my camera angle, so being careful. 6 string. Oh, here we go. Zach asks, I've been watching a show called Degrassi. I know of a show called Degrassi, which was a TV show, but I don't know if you're speaking about the same show that I'm thinking of. If it's probably a YouTube show or something, but I'm not familiar with that one. Not familiar with that one. Let's see here. I don't know if I can share the Helix screen. I don't think so. Maybe. Can I share that? Because I want to show you how the favorites work on the Helix. Let me see if I can do that from here. Share screen, application window, Helix. There it is. Okay, share that. Okay, cool. There we go. So yeah, the new Helix update, as I was saying a little earlier, came out this past Thursday, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's see. DTube says sound is dropping every other second. Is that true? Let me know, folks, if we're getting a problem with our sound, or if it's just happening to some people. But let me know if this sound is good, and we'll carry on with the Helix update talk. Should be okay, but we'll see. That. Which one am I on here? That's fine. There we go. Test 1, 2. Good here. All right, good. It was, I rebooted the iPad. Good now. Okay. Well, hopefully, if you can just refresh the browser there, DTube was saying that there was something with the sound, so there it is. Just sounds great. All right. Not sure. We got some gremlins happening tonight, so we'll just deal with it. But anyway, one of my favorite things on the new update is this folder up here called Favorites. So here's all the presets, right? And let's say I wanted to add an effect here on this block. Well, I could go to my distortions list, or let's say delay list, or whatever, modulation. I could do that, pick something from there, and then all the settings are not set the way I like them. I would have to reset everything. But now they've got this folder called Favorites right here. And what that does is, I've got a chorus here that I use all the time. So I could just click on that, bang, there's a chorus that I use all the time with exactly the settings that I like on it for the majority of my projects. To me, that is a huge time saver, because if you're starting a preset from scratch and you've got a list of favorite things listed here with all the settings for your setup already good to go, I mean, that saves you a ton of time. What I used to do was just copy it from another preset and then go to the preset and paste it in there. And it was like, okay, going back and forth, and just a lot of rigmarole for nothing. So having those favorites there is really a game changer for me as far as creating the patches. So that's really cool. So like I said, they've only got 3 new amps that they've added in this update. One is they call it the US Princess. It's a Princeton, basically. And to me, it's probably one of the best models that they've got on there for that Fender sound, if you're looking for that type of sound. And when I say it's it's one of my favorites. I say that because not because, okay, it sounds like a Fender amp. It's the way it feels. Like when you're playing, it reacts a certain way. So it actually feels like more of a real amp, the way that I don't know how to explain it, how the tubes compress and all that stuff. When you're playing a real amp, you have that sense or whatever. This really, I don't know how they did it, but they modeled it that way. So when you're playing along with this and have that preset set up there, it really reacts that way. So to me, that's a major update on the amp simulation. So they're getting really, really good with that stuff for sure. So let me just clear that one out of there. The other amp that they have or modeled in this new update is the Diesel VH4, and they call it, if I can find it, they call it this DAS Benzin Mega and DAS Benzin Lead. So they've got 2 channels of it that they modeled, and there it is. But I think basically it's just a model. But it's pretty good. It's really good. So let me see if I have it on here. I think it's this one. Yeah, so this is the lead, and I've got a 412 cabinet with vintage 30s on that one. So I don't even know if it sounds good through StreamYards, because I'm using StreamYards tonight, just was testing some stuff. And if you play guitar through StreamYards, I think it compresses and sounds like crap. So can't really show you that unless if Stafford's still in here. I know he plays guitar using the StreamYard. So if there's a setting that I need to select to make it sound good, and I can actually play with this setup so you can hear it, I'll do that. So Stafford says, is that available? Yes, it is available for everything they've updated on the Helix is available for the Stomp. And the other cool thing they did for the Stomp, which is really awesome in my opinion, is you can now have up to 8 blocks instead of 6. So you could, set up more elaborate patches if you had, I don't know, let's say you had a delay and you wanted to put a reverb in there, and you had a cabinet and a distortion and an amp, and by that time you've already reached your 6 blocks. You can't really do much more, but now you can add 2 more. Now the one caveat to that is basically because the HX Stomp is a smaller computer unit that's in there, and the RAM and stuff is not as big as the whole full Helix. Let's say you're using something that's really intensive on the processing, like they have pitch shifters and stuff now that are really intense on the processor. Not an issue if you're using the full size Helix, because it has a lot of DSP, which is the processing engine. But on a Stomp, it's a lot smaller. So keep that in mind. If you're building a patch and you want to put 8 blocks, you might not be able to use one of those pitch shifters and things that take up a lot of the DSPs. You could use it, but then it might say you're not able to use 8 blocks anymore. But it's really good. I mean, if you've got a Stomp, this is a great update for sure. If you've got a Helix, it's an awesome update because you can do so much more with it now. And there's stuff that I haven't even tried yet as far as some of the features that have come up, like Command Center and how you can program certain switches to do different things now. The pitch shifter is really, like, they've got 3 different versions of it where you can basically tune your guitar half step down by clicking on a button. Still digital to me, but it sounds pretty good. I mean, it sounds really good actually. So Guitar Hack says he's going to try a StreamYard test tonight with music. Okay, I'm sure you can do it because, like I said, I've heard Stafford, and I've heard Joe Wentz play through StreamYards, and they're jamming along with tracks and stuff, and it sounds really good. It doesn't sound compressed or anything like that. So I'm sure it's doable, but I think there is a setting in the audio settings of StreamYards that you need to uncheck something, or I'm not sure. So I haven't really tested it because I don't really use StreamYards to do my streams. So I'm just doing it tonight because I was testing something with the iPad and iPhone out in the garage. So, but yeah, let me know, Hack, if you have success doing that and what you had to do to make that happen. Let's see. How many blocks are in the HX? HX effects. Oops. Terry Hines, how are you? Been lurking. Good. Ben Tom asks, how many blocks are in the HX effects? HX effects, if I'm not mistaken, is 6, but I could be wrong. I don't have an HX effect. I never used it. It's basically the same thing as using a Helix without having the amp models or the cabs. They're all just the effects like distortions and delays and stuff like that. So I'm not sure as far as blocks, how many you are able to have with that, but Hack knows he has one. So Stafford says you can play in StreamYards, just uncheck the boxes in audio. All of the boxes? Because I know that if I go to audio setup, let's go to audio setup right now, and I'll tell you what boxes I have available. So basically I have echo cancellation is one box, stereo audio is the other, and then automatic adjust mic volume there's 3 boxes there. Right now I have audio cancellation checked. The other 2 are not checked. So Stafford, if you're saying you uncheck all of those, and if that's the case, then that's easy enough to do. But my question is, if you unchecked all those boxes, might sound good when you're playing guitar or playing with a track, but then when you come back on and you're speaking, or if you have a guest or something, does it still sound okay, or is there echo and all these other things that happen without those boxes being checked? Let me know in the chat. Let me see. Tom says, I think the Eventide H9 kills any harmonizers out there other than the flagship H3000 and H9. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I think the Eventide stuff is really good. So, but I've never used them, so I can't tell you, but I don't doubt it 1 minute that those are probably the top of the line as when it comes to that type of effect, for sure. So Hack says I can put up to 6 effects on. So that's what it is. Yeah, it's probably 6 blocks. And I don't know if this new update, the 3.0 Helix update, is something that the HX effects has an update as well. I don't know. And maybe if it does, it might offer you more options, I guess, but I don't know. I don't have an HX effect. Let's see. So Stafford says no, it should stay good when you come back. StreamYards fix a lot of the issues. All right, well, why don't we test that? Let's test it right now. So I'm going to go to the audio settings. I'm going to uncheck everything. Everything is unchecked. There we go. Can you still hear me well? Is there any echo? Does it still sound the same? I've unchecked everything in the audio settings. Let me know in the chat if everything sounds exactly the same as before I had the echo cancellation checked. All right, so here we go. I'm going to grab a guitar and I'm going to see if the audio sounds okay or does it sound compressed and underwater type of thing. So we've got the R6. Let me just back up a little bit here. We've got the R6. So let me hit that button here. That. All right, let me know. Volume lowered but still clear. Okay, so I'm going to play guitar here, just a few chords or whatever, and let me know if that's coming through okay. Paul Lou says, sound good. Sounds good. Okay, well, maybe that's all you need to do then. If I'm, like, speaking-wise, that hasn't changed. Sounds clear and good. Well, there you go, folks. If you're looking for a streaming platform that you can do what I'm doing, you can have a guest on, you can play and jam with You can hear the mic in the room. That's true because I haven't muted the mic, but let me mute the mic now. So there, you shouldn't have heard anything as far as the picking sound because the mic was muted. So there you go. That's the way to do it. Brian, turn on stereo processing. Okay, let's do that. So let's go to the audio settings of StreamYard and let's turn on stereo audio. There we go. That's on. All right, so now we've got stereo audio on. Let me know if that has changed as far as my speaking mic. Everything still sound good? I'll wait for the acknowledgement in the chat saying that that hasn't changed or it sounds better or worse. That's just my speaking voice with stereo. I guess whatever it's called in StreamYard, stereo is checked. So did that change? Voice on left. Okay, now you're just in my left speaker. So that's what happens when you click that. So let me go back. You just got louder. Let's hear the guitar. Okay, let me play the guitar now. Let me know if it's only coming out of one speaker then. All right, so we're hearing only on the left side. So let me turn that. So I guess we don't use that stereo thing then. Let's uncheck that. So that's been unchecked. Now let's wait to hear from the chat to let me know now that you should be able to hear it like you did previously, which should be both speakers left and right. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Let me know if you can hear that. Same issue I had is what Stafford says. Now you hear it in stereo, I'm imagining, right? Is that correct? Should be in stereo now. Now both speakers. Okay, so now you hear everything centered. Good. All right, let me do the guitar again to make sure that that's still working. And then we're going to do another test. Hold on. All right. Did that sound stereo? Let me see. All good. The stereo. Deterioro. I don't know what Tom is saying. What does that mean? The fiddle. That's more than 6 seconds. Metallica. There you go. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys know Metallica. All right. So here's the next hack. If you're still in here, if you're willing to come on, I'll send you the link. And now we'll know if we bring in a guest and all those audio features are unchecked, will the guests be able to hear everything, and will there be any echo between the two people on the stream? So Hack, if you're still in here, let me know, because I have your contact in my Facebook thing and I can send you a link real quick. So let's see. Creeping Death. Yes, that was Creeping Death. Okay, Hack. Are you at your computer? I'm assuming you're at your original computer where you can join the stream, right? Let me know. All right, let me do this. Copy that. Let me do that. Let me go to Facebook. Let me see if Hack is available here in my chat thing. Where are you? Where are you, Hack? Hack, go to Facebook or turn on Facebook or something so I can find you in here. Pepper. Okay. Let me make sure Hack is in there. 1 minute. Okay, I'll give you a second here. How's that go again? All right, I butchered that again. All right, here we go. Let me see. Okay, Hack, I'm sending you the link in Facebook Messenger. Once you get that, join in, and then we're going to test if the audio changes when we bring in a guest. And that will be a determining factor on how good we can do in StreamYards when it comes to playing music and having a guest on or whatever you want to do. Because if that's the case, folks, this program or this service is well worth I think it's like $100 a year or something like that. I think that is definitely worth it if this all works here. So let's give it a second and see if Hack jumps in here. It depends on Hack's setup. Okay, there's Hack. Hey, Hack.
Hey, what's going on?
Good. All right. So you can hear me fine. I can hear you fine, right?
Yeah, but I get it.
Okay, I hear you fine. Good. Now the chat, when Hack speaks, are you hearing him okay, or does he come through with any echo or anything?
Yeah, I'm hearing echo.
You're hearing echo.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let me do this then. Let's see. Translation. Now do you hear echo?
Check 1, 2. It's gone.
Right. So that's what's happening. When we go to the mic and sound and we go to the audio section, if we uncheck echo cancellation and we're the only ones on, let's say I'm just doing my show by myself like I did, then that's fine. Then you can go ahead and you can play guitar, you can jam with tracks and all that stuff, and it sounds like it did when I just did that.
Okay.
But if you bring in a guest and you don't have echo cancellation checked, I think that's where we run into an issue.
Now here's the other test. What if your guest is also playing?
Okay, well, let's test that. Hold on. Let me go to this screen or this one here. So we don't need the Helix on there. Okay. So, but here's the other thing. Okay, I hear your guitar, no problem. Okay. Yeah, now you're getting that underwater sound. But I bet you if you had headphones on and I took off echo cancellation, you probably would not hear an echo, and you probably could play guitar and all that stuff.
All right. Or hang on, let me go to my thing, my audio.
Okay.
And let me uncheck my stuff.
Yeah. Oh, now I hear myself.
Now you hear yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, but do you hear this?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's okay. So that doesn't sound like it's underwater.
No.
Okay, but you get okay. What? How about if you still getting a echo?
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right, yeah. So that's the deal right there.
Okay, so take that out.
Okay, got the echo cancellation back on. Should
Okay,
be
now we're fine. So I guess the question I have for Stafford, because Stafford does this with Joe Wentz, and they play guitar and then they stop and they speak to each other and stuff like that. So the question for Stafford is, when you guys stop playing guitar and then go into a conversation between each other, do you then go into the audio settings and turn that echo cancellation off, or is there something else that's happening in the background that's working for you guys?
that guitar's too loud.
Ben said he blew his ears out.
What do you mean?
So I can't control that, Tom. Sorry.
Ow!
Yeah, it is coming through loud though. I don't know. Is my like if I play, is that loud? No, that's fine. Just play an A chord, like a shuffle or something. Okay, so now as soon as I started playing, that freaking like went down because of the underwater compression thing. That
Okay, let me. I have earbuds here.
okay, you can try it.
Let me try the earbuds, see if that works.
Okay.
Where the hell are they? Okay, hang on.
Yeah. I don't know if Stafford's still in here, but Hack was louder at first, but not now. Okay. Two instances of StreamYard. What does that mean, Ben? Or Tom? Two instances of StreamYard. I don't understand. There's got to be a way to do this. Definitely, if you don't have a guest on, this thing is awesome because you can do a lot with StreamYard. But if you want to have a guest on, I think we might have limitations. Let's see what happens when he puts the headphones.
What I noticed too is there's a shit ton of delay on my video.
Really?
Yeah, like lots.
And you're coming in clear for me, and there's no delay when I'm watching you speak. There's no delay or anything.
It's delay on my end.
Oh.
Yeah. Oops.
Don't know why. Your guitar or something.
Okay, so I got the headphones in. I'm hearing you through the headphones now.
Okay, test 1, 2. You can hear that. So let me go to my audio and turn off echo cancellation. Now try talking.
Hello. Yeah, still echo.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just turn that off. So I don't know. That seems to be the limitation then.
Yeah.
But
so turn it. So basically, yeah. Go ahead.
If you wanted to do your own show and you want to use StreamYard, you would just turn off all that audio processing, every check mark in audio, and you'd be good to go. Then you have features of StreamYard as far as like having the chat, bringing in chat, having if you wanted to bring up like a share your screen type of thing, or all the regular features that StreamYard has, except when you bring in a guest, you have to make sure that echo cancellation is checked. Otherwise, it's I don't know how Stafford's, if they do it differently.
I don't know. Is he still in here?
I haven't heard him or seen him pop up here in the last couple of minutes. I don't know if he's still in there or not. I'm not sure. So
I usually it's funny because I put on the the stereo thing when I play during my show when I play the intro music. I guess all those times I've been doing it only comes out of one speaker.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that when your intro is coming on, if you're using StreamYard, is that there is a different sound. So that's probably what's happening. It's actually...
So for now on, at least I know to turn everything off, play the intro music, then hit echo canceling, and then do the show.
Correct. Yeah, I think you'd be better off doing that. Does anyone make any audio software that would integrate with StreamYards?
Not that I know of.
I don't know either. Not that I know of. This is, let's see, $1 million problem needs to be. Yeah, and I don't know, like I know Zoom has gotten really good with people that want to jam together online, and they've been able to achieve it somewhat, but I think there's still some stuff that they need to work out.
Okay, I know why the delay was. I was watching us on YouTube, not watching us on Streamer. That's what the delay was.
There you go.
Okay,
So now
I'm
you
gonna
should see it perfectly as
Yeah,
far.
I pop out the chat, and I'll go to.
I'm just following
Okay.
the chat in the StreamYard's app. That's all I got open.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Your mic is super loud though.
It is.
Well, sometimes I don't know. Like try now.
It is.
Like if you speak right into it, it comes out. So like it doesn't need.
I don't need to be that close to it then.
No, not in for what I hear. I don't know what the audience is hearing. If they need you to be closer or farther away. But what I hear, if you're just a little bit away from your mic, it sounds perfect.
That sounds perfect. Okay, well that'd be good because I generally jam it right into my face because I figure nobody can hear me.
Right. So how's it? How's things in Toronto? Are you still working or is it locked down?
Well, yeah, but today they were only letting people into the building that were doing online stuff. So I was able to get access, but people that were coming in, that were able to come in last week, I mean, I guess nobody communicated to them that you can't come in here and do like clinics and labs and stuff like that, like students. I guess they never communicated that to them because, the security guard was stopping all of them and they let me through because I was just doing an online thing. So,
wow.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. It's, it's no haircuts, no, non-essential. So the whole mall thing, you can't go to the malls and all that kind of stuff. That's all that's all been shut down.
Is Cosmo shut down too, or is that out of the zone?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been to I know that my a buddy of mine is actually working at Alon McQuaid now, and he was telling me that they're doing the Black Friday.
Right.
And normally when they do in Black Friday, they put out the flyers like a couple days before. You kind of see what you want, and then you go to that store on that day and get it, or wait in line or whatever. And he was telling me, he goes, "Nah, man." He goes, "Now it's all curbside." So I'm like, "How the fuck do you do that?"
Really?
How do you do curbside on a Black Friday? Fridays, you what do you call in and tell them what you want, or do you know what I mean? Or do you just like kind of show up and then take a number and then tell them what you want? So in other words, you can't walk through and grab it. I didn't see that. You have to, I guess, have a plan.
Well, you'd have to order whatever you want online, I guess, and then go pick it up. I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how they would do that on a.
I know Cosmo sent out some emails today. I think I saw there.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
right. But wow, I don't know. Last year I went to I think it was last year. I went, and that's when I bought my Fender Telecaster during a Black Friday sale at Cosmo, and it was insane, man. It was a madhouse in that place, and I got there like as soon as they opened, and I knew what I wanted, and I went in and I got it, but. Yeah, there's no way they can do that this year, not with all these regulations.
Well, it's Toronto and Peel is in lockdown right now. And Peel, being a lot smaller than Toronto, they actually get as many or more cases a day than Toronto gets. So they're really bad up there.
Yeah, that is
Ben Thomas saying, please tell me you can still get apple juice and Stogies. Apple juice, but now they're back to lineups outside the store because they're only allowed so many people. So I mean, the thing is, we knew it was coming, right? So rest assured, Tom, I stocked up.
That sucks.
Yeah, as far as stogies, I order them from a place, and so I should be getting some more this week. So,
Oh, good.
but thanks, I appreciate your concern, Tom.
There you
He's
go.
looking out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh, well, yeah, it's something that I guess 28 days they said, right? They're gonna.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like Christmas this year is gonna be just us in the house, and
Yeah.
my mom will come over, and my son's girlfriend maybe, and
That's
that's
about it.
basically it. Yeah,
Oh well.
so
We
yeah,
gotta-
we're back to where we were in I don't know, April.
yeah.
No, not April. Yeah,
Well,
April.
Yeah, it would have
May.
been April, back in March, April. That's when everything kind of went to shit. It was like, oh no. And now we're
Yeah.
back there. But here in New Brunswick, they don't have many cases, but every time they get like 2 or 3, they like, oh my God, zone 1 has like 2 or 3 cases today, so we're going back to the red zone. Like they're really, really strict on just a handful of cases. They just lock things down, or say you can't go more than a certain amount of people in this store or this thing or whatever. It's crazy.
Well, I heard on the radio, Alberta
Yeah.
has as many cases as we do, and they've got like
Yeah.
a tiny population. So for them, it's really high.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
they'll lock down.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
like in the GTA, there's like 10 million people, and we're getting 1,500 a day, right? So
Yeah. Hold on.
which, but if the testing gets like, if it's like around over 3%, they freak out. 3% of the people getting tested, they freak out. So
Yeah, and you know what? That's the other thing around here. There's like, especially like I'm in what they call zone 3, I think. They took our province and they basically put 5 zones in there, and
Right.
zone 5 and 4, I believe, are like down in Moncton and that where there's more population. But where I am, there's not that much population. Like I said, this little town that I'm in has maybe less than 10,000 people.
Right.
But they don't test. So my thoughts are like, okay, they say they don't have any cases, but how the hell do you know? Like,
Yeah.
unless somebody has a symptom or something and goes to the hospital to get a test, there's no like real testing going on. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, they're testing like 40,000 a day. It's usually 40,000 a day here. So,
Wow. Crazy.
and they're finding, like I said, 1,500 pretty much every day. It's between 14 and 1,600 a day. So,
Crazy. 609. Did you finish your studio, i.e. walls, electrical, or was it finished already in the house? No, the basement was all finished, Tom, and I just wired and stuff that I needed to wire, but I didn't burst walls down or do any of that stuff. It was already done. It was basically a blank slate down here, completely one big room, and the walls and ceiling, everything was done. So it's just basically just plug in things you need and set up your desk and lights and all that stuff. So didn't need to rip up the house and rewire stuff and all that stuff. Didn't go to that extent.
that's good. That's cool. So you're digging it out there, out ATVing or whatever you guys call it.
Yeah, we go out on our side-by-side thing, and
Side by side.
it's great because you go out in the woods and it's like there's nobody out there, and you can go, like they have a whole trail system and it's all signed and says, okay, if you go this way, you're going to go to this area or whatever, and you just follow that stuff. And we run into like a few other side-by-sides or ATVs as we're riding, but we see very little as far as people. And you just come around this corner and you got this huge lake with a view and everything. You just park there and have a little lunch or whatever. You're just out in the middle of nowhere. It's just beautiful. And you know, you spend 3-4 hours before you know it, and it's like, wow, we've seen all these areas and stuff. So you got to get back home, and because we got lights and everything. If we were out there in the dark, we'd still get back, but we try to get back before in the dark. So if you're out in the middle.
Worst thing that could happen is, the thing breaks down, and then
yeah,
hopefully you got cell service at least. Call somebody.
Yeah, you know what? It's surprising because I use my cell phone because I have a stereo in there, and I use my cell phone as my music thing. And I used Sirius Satellite. Basically, I have the app on my phone, and I used it all weekend. And I was out pretty deep in the woods and stuff, and it worked the whole way through. And if
Wow.
Sirius wouldn't
Good.
work if you didn't have that. So yeah, you have that, and I mean, yeah, it is what it is. You take your chances. If something happens, and you hope that you can call somebody, or there's people that drive by or whatever that can help you out.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
There's Brian S. is in here. Hey,
Hey, Brian. How are you, man?
how's it going, Brian? You missed a whole part of the show. We had a full jam. Hack had his drum in there, and it's crazy. Yeah, we just kind of settled down here for this last part of the show, so you missed all that. You have to go back and watch the replay.
Yeah, it's big jam.
Jam.
Hit an A chord.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Yeah.
this StreamYard thing is really good. I think if you're doing your own show, it's just when you bring in a guest, and it's fine if you bring in a guest and you know, you just remember to turn that echo thing on if you want to have a conversation like we're doing. But if you're playing your guitar and stuff, geez.
Yeah, switch it all off. Yeah.
I was pretty shocked when I watched Stafford and Joe Wentz. They were jamming along the tracks and everything. It sounded really like as good as anything else that I've heard out there, and it wasn't sounding like compressed or anything. So, and they were doing it all through StreamYard. StreamYard is extremely easy as far as operation.
Well, that's why I like it. It's stupid simple, right? The only thing I got to try is because when I do the like my the Saturday night off the cuff things, I'll load up a few backing tracks and then I'll attempt to play over top of them, and that's one thing I got to test to see if the backing tracks work okay through StreamYards, through all that stuff, and that I can still play over top of it like I can. That's one last thing I got to check, and then if that works, then the next Saturday night thing I do, whenever the mood strikes, I know I just go StreamYards. I can play my proper intro and all that kind of stuff.
I'm sure. Yeah. I don't think you'd have an issue playing a backing track. I mean, you can try it, but if I try it now and I take off echo, it might sound weird for you on your end. But yeah, if you take off that echo cancellation and you play music and you play a backing track or whatever, it should come through the same way as you playing guitar alone. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll give that a go, and then I'll know.
Yeah.
Get used to Brian on Mondays again. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go live tonight. Like I said, I'm still configuring this system, and that's why I went in the garage and just did it with my iPhone just to test that part out. But yeah, try to go on every Monday night. I'm sure there's some Mondays that I'll miss and stuff. I'm not like religious as far as, oh my God, every Monday at 8, well, it's 8 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock your time, I have to be on or the world ends. But I'm not that strict on it, but I'm trying to stick to the schedule. Yeah,
well, weekly shows are tough, man.
I know. You got to come up with some content. You just don't want to come up here and just, it's fine shooting the shit. If there's something to talk about, that's cool. But sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of an agenda. Like you have guests on all the time, so that's even more stress for you. Like you have to all that, right?
Well, I got Jeff Young this week from Megadeth rescheduled. Right, I got, and then the next week I got some guys reached out to me. They're doing recorded a CD of all these Kiss songs.
Oh yeah.
And it's all these local musicians in the Buffalo, New York area. And then they got guys like, well, if you know your Kiss, you know who Mitch Weissman is, you know who is it Jeff Messina, and anyway, some Kiss people that have either written with them or actually around Kiss records. They got them to be on the thing as well. And they're doing it as a charity to raise money for the homeless in Buffalo. So they reached out. So I'm going to have them on like after Jeff the following Wednesday. So I got the next couple weeks booked. Yeah. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
No, that's a good.
They knew I'm a big Kiss fan. So like, let's do it on your show. So sure.
Right on. Yeah. If you can get like, and even the other guests that you had with when you were doing like breakdowns of, whatever it is, Judas Priest or your 10, like with Martin and the other guy that comes on.
Oh yeah, Martin is a phenomenal.
Yeah,
I bought I bought 2 of his books. Rush books. I
Yeah.
love Rush as well, and I read the first one, and it's just, and if you're in a rush, I cannot recommend that book enough. And I'm about halfway through. That was like Rush in the 70s, and the second book is called Limelight Rush in the 80s. I'm about halfway through that.
Right on.
It's just, it's stuff that the guy just, there's no stone unturned, man. Like everything you want to know.
He's pretty in depth with all this stuff.
Oh yeah, it's great if you're a Rush fan. Did you get the guys that did that tune Long Way Down? I don't know, Tom. I have if you go on my Guitar Hack page, I have the link to the CD on there if you want to check it out, and then you can see everybody that's on the record and stuff. So if you want to check that out, Tom, I don't know off the top of my head. But I have those guys coming back probably in December sometime. The next band that I got 2 bands coming up. With those 2 guys, I'm going to be doing Black Sabbath.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm going to be doing just one by myself. I've already done like my top 10 Kiss makeup and non-makeup. Somebody requested that. And I'm going to be doing one on the Cult as well. Top 10
really?
My top 10 Cult records.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be doing I'm promoting the shit out of myself, but
Go
you
ahead.
asked, so
Go ahead. It's all
I'm
good.
gonna I did a show on one Pete Pardo's channel. I did 2 shows on his channel already, like top 10 Ace Frehley solos. Then we did one top 10 Alex Lifes, and that's like 12,000 views. That's crazy.
Wow.
On his channel. And I'm doing another one next month on top 10 Jimmy Page, and that's what I'm working on right now. Man, those are labor intensive.
Yeah.
Because I got to listen to all the music. I have to listen to all the music. And I've been listening to some of the Jimmy Page stuff, and some of it is horrid.
Really?
Oh man, yeah. The record he did with Robert Plant is painful. It's painful. He did some great stuff. Coverdale Page is amazing. The Outrider record, his solo record that he did back in, I think that was the 80s or early 90s. That's a great record. The Black Crows, that's pretty good. But now I got to go through the entire Zeppelin catalog, and it's a lot of work, man. And then you amass this massive list, and then you got to shrink it down to 10, and then you got to put them in order. Like the Alex Lifeson show, I kid you not, 2 solid weeks.
Oh my God.
So it's a lot of work to do those shows, but he invites me to do them, and I'm like, sure.
There's that guitar man likes your songs.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I got my songs are up on DistroKid.
I got to do that. I got to get on DistroKid and get myself set up. I was waiting to get a few more originals recorded, but that's the way I'm going to go to.
I just do one song at a time, and then they'll all be under your name, right? So It's like if somebody looks at your name, they'll see all the 3 songs. So they're on Apple Music, they're on iTunes, they're on Amazon Music, they're on
that's
Spotify.
The way my Smeer stuff is all, because back then there wasn't a DistroKid when we did Smeer. We did it through something called CD Baby. And when we did it through CD Baby, Baby did basically the same thing what DistroKid does is they distribute it to all the platforms, and they collect whatever monies that you get if you're played somewhere or whatever. But that's under Smeer, and I'm just want to do my own thing. So I don't. And that's the other thing is, if you go with DistroKid, let's say I'm doing my own thing, do I call it something? Like, do I come up with a project name, like a band name, or do I just call it Brian Cote? Like, I don't know, like, because once you your name on that account with that's music,
it. Well, my stuff's under Guitar Hack, so
because you've got a like I don't know if I want to go with 6-string Brian,
I hear you.
So I'm just trying to figure that out.
But I don't know. I have no idea if anyone's buying the music, because it takes like 2 or 3 months before they. And the thing is, too, you have to for them to keep doing it, and it's not expensive. I think it's like $26 for a year, but you got to keep, for them to keep it out, or they just shut it down, right?
I wonder if they actually register the songs through SOCAN as well. the
Oh,
Canadian songwriters.
I don't know.
Because when we did Smear, we had to register with them. And what happens every quarter, I get in my bank account, it gets direct deposited in it, like, you know, a couple of bucks, like nothing crazy, but they
Yeah.
collect it for you. Like if your song was done, like bought from iTunes or whatever, or if it was streamed on another stream, let's say, because there's music streams that are streaming our stuff, like a college radio stream or whatever would stream a Smear song, whatever. Well, it would be picked up by these SOCAN organizations and they would track.
Yeah.
So you get a few pennies or whatever. So I don't
Yeah.
know if DistroKid actually puts your stuff through the Canadian songwriter.
I have no idea. I know that I had to give them tax information. So like, yeah, I'm gonna claim $5 or whatever I get for my music on my
Yeah.
tax.
Every quarter,
But,
I get like 10
yeah.
bucks. It was like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. This weekend I'm supposed to track 2 more songs. So
Are you? Yeah.
yeah.
You go to your brothers for that?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, because you're talking about drums earlier, and you know, I've got one song that's got like a total time signature change, and yeah, he's the one who figures out, like, you know, he's like, I like this, you like it. I kind of tell him what I want, and then he tries to, you know. But like the critical mass, I had tempo changes in that, and that was kind of tricky because it's the transition, right, to make it sound smooth with the drums.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then everything you play has to be on the grid, right? So when you play, you got to be like bang on.
It's a lot of work.
Otherwise, yeah. So
Does he use Logic?
you know, he does everything. Believe it or not, those 3 songs are all GarageBand.
Wow. Does it all with GarageBand? What does he
That's
use for
all.
his drum program? Is it through the GarageBand as well?
I'm not sure of.
Okay.
I don't know what he uses for the drums, but yeah, it's all GarageBand. So what we do is, like I'll play. I usually send him the song ahead of time to give him an idea what it's about, and he'll basically program drums so that I have something to play along, and then I'll record like the rhythm track,
Oh, okay.
and then he goes back and then he, you know,
That's the way
sets up.
that's the way I do my drums. I basically come up with a tempo or a groove that I want.
Yeah,
And I put that throughout the whole 3-minute time frame or whatever. And then I write my riffs and put everything together. And once I get a whole song of like parts, all the parts done, then I'll go back and I'll edit the drums and say, okay, here's where I want to make the bridge, and this is how I want it to sound in the chorus, and I do all that. But I always have like a straight beat through the whole thing that has a tempo groove that I like, which is the way that I find easiest.
Yeah, that's basically what he does. So then I'll do like a rhythm track, and then he'll put like a bass on it, and then even the bass line, like I'll tell him what I want, or I'll play what I want to hear on the bass on the guitar. And he's got a really nice early ball bass, and he lays down some bass, and then, you know, so I basically kind of tell him what I want, but he's a phenomenal musician. He just boom, boom, boom. So we get that down, and then I do overdubs. You know, I'll play like second guitar, and then I use different guitars. I've got like 3 guitars on. I use 3 guitars on, you know, a couple of the songs. I'll use like a Telly.
Yeah.
I'll use basically a humbucker and a single coil. Sometimes I'll use like a Les Paul. I used the RO on the last one.
Okay.
And then, you know, I'll play a solo maybe on the Telly instead. Like Critical Mass, there's like a, if you've seen the video where like it gets all into the nature and that's a Telecaster solo. And then I'll tell them what I want. Like I literally, I'm just using my own gear, my own effects, whatever. Like I dial up the tones I want. And then if I want something, like he did this thing, man, like on Critical Mass, like when it came to that solo, I said, I want it to sound like I'm playing on a mountaintop, right? You know, like, and he did all this, and it just sounds fucking glorious. I don't know what the hell he did, but when that solo comes in, it's holy shit.
That's cool.
It even makes me sound like I know what I'm doing. It's like, wow.
Right on.
You know,
No, they sounded good. I like the songs, and that's my part, is when I get to that part of recording where I'm putting parts together. I want to use a Les Paul for this section.
Yeah.
I want to use the Telly for this section, because they have their own character, they have their own style.
Yeah.
Playing them is different for you as a player because you're playing differently on a different guitar. You have a different vibe, and that's the fun part for me when I get into recording is starting to put those pieces together is really a lot of fun.
Yeah, like I know like this like already this weekend when I go, like one song I got like an 80s kind of metal, hard rock or more metal, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Ernie Ball. So I'm going to use the Ernie Ball on that one. And then I'll probably like tuck in like I'll double the rhythm, and I'll probably tuck in like a strat, not a strat, like a telly underneath it.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
That's the cool part with doing like even a rhythm track where you're doubling your guitars is do one track with a good, like a Les Paul or a humbucker or whatever. And then do your second track, let's say your left channel track with a completely different guitar, like a Strat or something, and have your right channel be the Les Paul and just double them, basically play the same thing on each one for your rhythm. And then in the mix, you can bring in certain, I want more of the Les Paul or whatever, or less of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Really cool once you get to do that.
What was funny was we were doing one track, and I can't remember which one it was, but so I think I played it with I think it was Lay Me Down, the first one I did, and I did it with I used snuts on that one, and then I said, well, I want to double that. And then he plugged me in. He's got a couple different amps too. He plugged me into this other amp, and I'm playing it. And I'm like, that sounds like dog shit. He goes, yeah. He goes, just do it. And he made that shitty sound. He blended it in, and it just worked.
Yeah.
So he can hear he can hear what I can't hear because he's been doing it, and he does his own music, and I can't wait he's going to launch his own stuff. I can't wait because I'll send you one of his tracks. It'll blow your fucking mind because the musicianship that he's just, not because he's my brother, but oh my God, so I almost feel bad for him. It's like, it's like with me, he's like, painting with, coloring with crayons.
I'm sure he enjoys the process too, right? So
yeah, he likes doing it and stuff, right? But his stuff's like other level stuff. But so you can kind of hear ahead of time. He's like, no, man, that'll work if we tuck that in. And he says, trust me. I'm like,
that's what I learned as well.
Results. Wow.
When I was recording with Smeer, we would record and we recorded Metalworks, we recorded all these studios, and the engineer would always do that. He would like listening to the guitarist would play like a tone that would be like, nah, it's not for us on its own. But we learned quickly that tone was a frequency that would go into the mix with the rest of the stuff. Would bring up another level of sound that you wouldn't even know was there until you played that on that shitty tone by itself. It's just how that works. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. Hack's brother should be a record producer, although I'm not sure that job even exists now.
Yeah. I'm sure it does. I just don't know.
You know what? The biggest arguments I have with him is like, I'll do something and I'm like, that's crap. Let me do it again. And I usually do like 2 takes, and he's like, or I'll play something. I'll go, that was bad. He goes, no, actually, that was pretty good. No, we'll use that one. I'm like, really? I'm my worst critic, So
I think we're all that way too. Yeah.
I need the voice of reason, because when I hear it back, I'm like, okay, that should have been better. Oh, I didn't quite hit that note. That should have been better. It's like, I just dissect everything I do.
You could go down the rabbit hole with that stuff and never finish anything if you were, you kind of got to get to a point where, okay, I'm satisfied with this, even though you could play it 10 times over again and maybe you'd get a 5% better or something, but at the end of the day, you might not. And sometimes your first take is the best.
The only thing that everything is pretty worked out, right? Except for the solos. So whatever leads I do are like off the top of my head, because I do like to leave a little bit of room for whatever strikes me, right? And and for those I'll do, I might do like a couple of takes, and then I'll pick the best one, or usually he picks the best one and tells me that's the best one. Relax, you're fine. Use this one. So, so all this, like, I mean, I don't often pat myself on the back, but I think that one solo I was talking about with the Telecaster on Critical Mass. I think that's one of the best things I've ever done. I don't know the fuck I pulled that out of my ass, but I did.
Right
But
on.
that was one of those ones that was like, that was completely improvised, and it just fit like a freaking glove. Bang! It's like, oh wow, that's
Yeah,
great. Sometimes you never know, right?
I did the same thing on that one of my originals. I played it a few weeks ago, and when I get to the lead, I get a few parts that I remember how I did it, but the other parts I don't. I'm like, I have to basically relearn something that I invented, like I put together.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy with it, and I love it, but I don't play that song like on a daily basis. So when it comes time to play it again, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that part and that part. What was I doing here? And I have to kind of relearn it, like I'm learning like a cover song. It's so weird.
I couldn't reproduce what I put out because I don't know what the hell I played.
It's
I
hard.
couldn't reproduce any of that stuff. You know what I started doing is now, and I've never done this before, but one of the songs actually that I'm going to be recording this week, I'm sitting having a cigar, and this riff pops in my head. I'm like, fuck. And then I'm hearing it again, so I don't forget it. And you know what I did? I sang it into my phone.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And you know what? I was able to. It's like, okay, I heard it, and then I was able to get it from my brain to the phone to the guitar. I'm like, wow.
That's you have to. You're gonna forget it.
Yeah.
Seconds after you think of something, sometimes it's gone. Yeah.
So
I usually well, I haven't done it in a while, but when I'm in writing mode or whatever, I'll play some riffs, and I'll always have my phone next to me. And as soon as I get something that I can jive with or whatever, I'll hit record on the phone and just record that little part, and then I save it. So on my phone, I've probably got like 100 riffs that I've done a year ago even. Now I can go back and say, okay, I remember that one. I like this. I don't like that or whatever. But if you don't, no matter how good it is, when you're playing it and you're in your head, you're going, man, I'm going to remember this tomorrow. You're not.
Yeah.
It's
so funny. You know, you're talking about all the different riffs. So I had this big elaborate bridge. I had the two songs and I had two bridges, right? And I'm sitting here, like I rearranged my stuff 100 times before I even show up to his place, because I'm always, oh, that part could be better. Let me improve that. Oh, that could be, you know what I mean? I'm always tweaking, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm playing the one tune with the bridge, and then I played the other tune with the bridge, and I'm like, you know what? I actually ended up swapping bridges.
yeah, that will happen.
Right? So I took this big chunk out of this song, slapped it on that one, and it worked beautifully. And then I took that chunk and slapped it on the first one.
That's the beauty of creating music, man. You can do all kinds of stuff.
It's great, you know. Yeah.
That's why I love Aerosmith so much. All of the layers.
Twin guitar. Yeah, that's whole other level. Those guys, like, I'm talking about, I might have 3 guitar tracks. Those guys probably have like 30. So.
Yeah, and a lot of times they're playing completely different things on each, and they all blend together and make like that sound that they have. Their signature sound is just, that's what it is. It's hard to recreate that, especially in a live band situation where you have to kind of know all your little parts and your intricate.
And that's where the theory would come in nice, because, you know, if you're playing this, you're like, okay, you know, you kind of, like, I'm pretty limited on what I can do, right? So, I mean, unless I hear something in my head, then I'll find the notes or whatever. But that's where the theory would come in really handy. Is when
as soon as I learned modes and some theory, that helped me a hell of a lot. Like even writing wise, like writing riffs and things, it went to another level, because now I understood. Like I'm writing in Dorian, and I know what key and what are the notes in that key that will work, and you know all that stuff. Before I knew modes or whatever, I knew what I was doing, but I'm not to that level, and it didn't click to me. Now it's like I know instantly where to go and what to do and what will work and what probably won't. Even if it doesn't work, like if I know it won't work, I'll still try stuff just to see. You know, you can come out of that zone a little bit and still come out with some cool stuff, but no, some theory really, I know it's shitty when you don't know it and you're learning it. And I don't need to learn this, whatever, you know, you get to that point, but once you break that barrier and it clicks with you, it's like, oh, holy shit. Oh, now I understand.
Well, with the mode thing, like I'm relatively comfortable with that. And pretty much all of my solos are modal. Everything I've been doing is modal.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool, because I don't want it to sound atypical, you know. It's like, you know, so I have like I'll do something that'll have like an Eastern feel, and then I'll do something
Yeah.
that'll have more of a, like a poppy feel. And it's just, all you're doing is you're just going from, one mode to another. And, it's funny because I had Ian Stitch on the show a couple weeks back, and
Yeah.
we were talking about stuff, and the thing is, it's like modes is one of those things that you can make as complicated as you want, or you can make it very, very simple. At the end of the day, it's the color, it's the chords that dictate. So, if you're playing a progression, and like in a key, if you start with, if the first chord is, the tonal center, then you're, and you're soloing over that, you're doing Ionian. So, but I'll be soloing like in the, a riff off the fifth chord of that. So now it's not Aeolian, sorry, it's Phrygian, so now I'm playing a Phrygian solo, but I'm still playing the same notes, but because you're playing them off of that chord, it has a completely different, and you already know where the notes are.
Yeah.
So now the rest of it is like you're just composing, you're just using your ear, and if you played long enough, kind of what the note's going to sound like before you hit it, what that interval is going to feel like, and that those notes will work, right? So
That's the other part of it, is knowing before you even play. Like when you're playing, if you go to this section or whatever, how it's going to sound before you even play it.
right.
It took me a long time to kind of get to that point where you're just playing. You're not thinking of all these things. You're just playing, and
You're just playing.
the feel that's coming, and you know how to get there without even like, it's just part of what you're doing, which is, it took me a while to get that.
I'm still kind of just getting there, because every once in a while I'll still hit a bum note, but I'm still just kind of getting there. But that's why I leave, like I was saying, that's why I leave the solo parts. That's why I improvise those, because that's when you're composing on the fly, right? And that's when you have those happy accidents, right? Because if you plan it out, then it's too mechanical, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? And you can hear it. You can hear the difference. It's like when you hit a note, it's like, holy shit, that's good. And while you're, oh yeah, then this will,
Yeah. No, that's true. But the thing is with me was, I used to think patterns, right? I used to think that way, like the pentatonic pattern. I knew where to go with that stuff. But as I'm playing now, I don't think of it that way. I just know in my head what I'm hearing. And let's say the song, there's a solo coming up. I know what I want to do, or if I'm listening to a song, I know what they're going to do before, because I've heard the song before, and I just, how to get to that point without thinking, oh, he's doing a pentatonic in the fifth position. You're not thinking that way anymore. You're just knowing that that's where the feel is, and that's where you got to go.
Yeah,
so it's hard to get to that point.
Man, yeah, I mean, I'm still fighting that, but every once in a while, it's like, as long as you're hitting the chord tones every once in a while. And not always, when I say chord tones, you're not always hitting like the one of the chord, hit the third, hit the sixth, like something tasty, like try to take it to the next, the next
what
level.
I need to work on more now, I think, at this stage of the game is understanding that when I'm playing, let's say I'm playing something in A minor, I'm playing like just a regular 3-chord song, whatever, A minor, and would be a D major and E minor, whatever. Knowing that that's happening while I'm playing, being able to transition from a minor scale to a major scale in the same solo, because I transition to the D chord, I'm now in a major part of the song, or a different feel of the song, and being able to transition as I'm soloing to a major sound, like a Mixolydian or something. At that point, that's where I'm trying to get to, where it becomes more natural and not having to think about it as much. I think that will build a whole new palette of, when you're soloing, what you can create and what you can build from that.
Yeah, that's like, that's when I kind of let my ear be the guide, right? I don't, like, I know where the notes are. I let my ear guide me to where I'm gonna go next. Because again, like, and then I was gonna say, I just, because you're still playing the same notes, but now they're gonna have a different color, because they're over a different chord, right? So you could switch scales with the chord, which is now you're getting into jazz, but you could still play the same notes, but just make sure that you emphasize those notes of the D while you're sitting there, and it'll sound really. It sounds glorious when you have those happy accidents. And you're like, oh man, that little run worked and it sounded really good. Maybe sit on it for a while.
That's where I'm trying to get, like that, exactly what you're saying, and
Yeah.
have it out more naturally and not have to overthink it as I'm doing it.
You know what? The best practice for that is what I do, and I and I do it really stupidly. I'll like Saturday night. All right, here's three. I've never, because honestly, I put on a track. It's like, let's see if I fall on my face, and I try to make music to whatever I'm hearing, and I try to pick stuff that's not just 1, 4, 5. Like blues,
Right.
you can go on blues until the cows come home, right? That's why, blues is fun, right? You can, I mean, I shouldn't say that. You get a lot of emotion and stuff, but I've done jazz, I've done, like if I do blues, there's got to be a little bit of a jazz element to it. If I do rock, there's got to be a melodic element to it, because one thing I can't do is I can't play fast, and B, I can't shred. I can't, like, if something is like an Iron Maiden thing or whatever, and you're gonna like freak out on E minor, like after about, I just get bored too, right? So right off the bat, I'm like, I'm not playing. Like, I don't play pentatonics ever. I'm always playing those other notes, right? Because I'm bored, with just that 5, So I'm not very good. That I need literally a little more meat. You know what I mean? More to, sink my teeth into and try to do something melodic. But that's the way to do it. Is just keep playing and backing tracks and more back, and get out of your comfort zone, and don't play in A and E.
Yeah.
Play in B, play in D, play in G. So like usually when I call up backing tracks in a show, I'm like, okay, this one is in G, this one is, and that's when I'm hitting bum notes, because those are like, you know what I mean? Those are actually, oh shit, I slipped into the wrong key there. Right?
Not used, yeah.
But I
play a ton of, like, every time I just practice or jam along, that's what I do. I bring up a list of backing tracks on YouTube, and I just go one by one, and it doesn't matter if it's, like you said, a jazzier track or the next one is a more rock track, whatever. I just kind of go with it, and it gives me a chance to play many different things in the same session that I'm, if I'm sitting here for an hour or whatever, I've gone through a couple of different styles, and hopefully that things start to click when I'm trying to do something like slipping from major to minor in the same solo or whatever, and trying to make all that work.
Yeah, making the major to minor thing and making that smooth, that's always a little tricky too, right? Like that's yeah. But Stitch showed me something really cool. I don't know if you watched the show a couple weeks ago. He's like, because I asked him about that, and so he's like, okay, so he's playing. So what you do is you hit the note, like if you're doing it, the last note that you hit, make sure it's a note in the next. It's a note that also belongs to both, and then it's smooth.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah. Because I asked him, how do you picture the fingerboard? Do you picture it as like all major or all minor, or do you see them superimposed? So what he does is he plays it like major, but he knows where the minor is, so he'll hit a note, and that's common to both, and then that transition is so smooth that, next thing you know, I'm now minor, right? So
yeah. It'll get there at some point.
Yeah, it just takes a lot of time.
It's just like modes. It took me a long time to click, and it was more about the teaching technique for me, how people teach. Like, it was Steve Stein that really, there was another guy that I forget his name now, which is awful, because I learned so much from him because of that, the way he teaches, the delivery of the teaching for me clicked for some reason, and then all of a sudden I started, okay, I get it now, and then it started coming together. The other thing is the scales, like the 3 notes per string thing,
right?
That, for some reason, at first when I started playing again in 2 years ago, or 2018, and I was starting to look at a lot of lessons online and stuff, and I've always heard that the 3 note per string thing or whatever, and I never really understood what the benefits of that or how that would blend. And in about a year after of playing and stuff, and I started experimenting with that, it clicked even more for me. I find it easier for some reason to see my fretboard when I'm looking at it, or I'm thinking of scales or modes and stuff, in the 3 notes per string for some reason. than your traditional, like, you know, 2 notes per string or whatever it is that you're
Yeah,
technically.
which is pentatonic, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and it's those notes, like those semitone, because usually you're pentatonic, there's always at least a tone between the 2 notes. But when
Yeah.
you're doing the 3 notes per string, those semitones, that's where you get that nice sixth. The
Yeah.
sixth is that's a secret sauce right there, right? And you know, you hit those accents, whatever, and it's like wow, that's a, you know,
Exactly.
that gets you out of your seat. It's like, oh, there's a new note, right? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
So
can visualize it a lot better for some reason.
oh yeah, because everything kind of, you don't have those gaps, everything blends, right?
Yeah.
You know, the transition from one shape to the other, you know, one is ending, the other beginning, right? So you can make it nice. The other thing that I started trying to do more now is do like string skipping, where like I'll make a chord out of 3 notes, and I'll
Right.
play a note per string. So not quite an arpeggio, but sort of an arpeggio, right? So, but it's still 3 notes. It's still a chord. It's a chord within the solo.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to incorporate some of that now, and that's like my latest thing now, right?
Right on.
Just,
Yeah.
you know, just try to kind of expand, you know.
Well,
the
that's you got to
vocabulary, right?
you have to kind of experiment with different things and even different techniques from different teachers. You know, I love Rick Beato, and don't get me wrong, he's a
Oh man,
genius. But every time I try to listen to him, yeah, exactly. Like I last 5 minutes and I'm like, I can't do it. I got to move on. And I listen to it, but I just.
Did I tell you what I think I told you what I said to him at NAM last year.
Yeah.
Right? He was behind Marty, and they were at the you know what, that after NAM show popped up on my feed, and I was watching it from a year ago the other day.
All right on.
Yeah, it came on my YouTube feed. Watch yourself, anyway. But anyway, it was so, you know, so I went to the bar, and he's there with Marty Schwartz, so they're buddies, right? So I'm like, hey, Marty, shook his hand, man. You saved me a lot of time because I'm in a cover band. You show me how to play all these songs, whatever. And then there's Rick.
Yeah.
Rick. I go, Rick, I watch you too, man. But 30 seconds in, it's over my head, and he started laughing. Right? I told him right to his face. Oh yeah, you know, it's Rick Beato.
I mean, he's a great guy. He knows.
Oh
so
yeah.
much. Yeah.
He knows too much.
Yeah.
You know, there's a guy that, I mean, if he listens to music, he's hearing 1,000 possibilities, right? You might have 2 or 3 ideas.
Yeah.
He's got like 100 ideas in his head, what he could do over this thing, right? You know, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Josh Smith, you know who Josh Smith is, right?
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal guitar player.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So his video comes up on my feed. It was something like, you know, transitioning this and that, whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, that's something I'd be interested in learning. So I started watching him. He's like, okay, so I learned this off this guy. Then I learned this off that guy. And then I incorporated 4ths and 7ths and 18ths. It's like, okay, I can't learn nothing off of you, man. You're on too high a level.
Exactly. But yeah, it's that's the way it is, man. Some people have like insane knowledge and so much skill. It's like, I don't know. I'll never get to that that stage.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, and they can apply it like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's the impressive part.
Yeah, that's crazy. But again, we're not professionals; we're just hobbyists. You got to put things in perspective, right?
Everything you say goes right over my head, Brian S.
Yeah. He makes it sound like you can, you know, it's for the every guy, right?
I know.
You know, he's got these simple, and then he's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll learn something from it. And like, it doesn't take long. It's like, what?
No, I tried many times.
What?
Just does not work for me.
Doesn't work, you know.
But he's a nice guy, like you said. I've met him at NAM and stuff. I had a good conversation with Marty at the Winter NAM. He was at the.
Oh, okay.
He was at the Gibson, like on the Wednesday night. Gibson did their like little thing in their booth where it's kind of an open house, and all these people walking around looking at the new guitars and stuff. And they had a band that played on stage and stuff. And he was just walking around. And he had his plate of food and stuff. And I ran right into him. I'm like, oh, hey, Marty, how's it going? And super nice guy. Like he actually sat there or stood there for a good 5 minutes talking to me when all these people wanted his attention, asking him questions and stuff. So for him to just,
Yeah.
just a guy walking around and, said that, I like this channel, and he taught me a lot and stuff. And he was like all interested, and he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy, and he's all into Gibson now. He's doing
He's
he
doing
does Gibson
video, yeah.
videos now, like beginner stuff. He was showing like really basic stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think he probably has a deal or something with them now that
Yeah.
he works with them and for social
Yeah,
media.
he's always featuring like Les Pauls, and the last one he did, I think he had a 335. So
Yeah, I think they built him a 335. Like he went to the custom shop, and actually they showed him like the wood that they were going to, like they built him a guitar. Just
oh
for
yeah,
him.
cool.
Yeah, that one that he plays, the red one, that was one of those things. He has if you go back to his channel, and I don't know, go through the list of videos, I think it was in the last 6 months or whatever, he has a video about the whole process and how he was surprised by it, and they gave him that guitar at the end of they showed him all the stuff in the custom shop and then gave him this guitar, and it was like pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome when they get guys, they're gonna get to that level. That's amazing.
Zach says Justin. Yeah, I think
Justin's good.
Too. Yeah, I've learned
good.
some stuff from him. That's for sure. Marty's cool as a beginner. I've learned that. Yeah, Marty has a good teaching style, right? So he relates to a lot of people. Yeah, they gave him a custom shop. That's the video.
That's awesome.
He has a whole video about it. Yeah,
that's very cool. Yeah, I'm still waiting for mine. One day.
Yeah, one day, right?
Actually, I have it. It's right there. That's what they would make.
Same here. Yeah, I had to go out and
it's right there.
I told Aljon, I said, if you're ever looking to make a custom guitar for me, I'd gladly shoot a video.
Well, he'd make an Epiphone, though. You'd
I
be
know.
good with the Epiphone, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he has. Epiphone makes some good stuff too.
Yeah. Oh, they do.
But yeah, it's the Fender thing for me is the next thing on the radar, because I was looking at I think Zach said he was playing acoustics more, and that was one of the things I was looking at maybe getting next year is an acoustic guitar. But if I buy an acoustic like a Taylor or a Martin or whatever, it's just $2,000 or whatever right there.
Yeah, they're not cheap. Yeah.
So it's like that Strat is really the thing that I'm hunting for, and want to kind of keep the money or the funds for that, and before I buy anything else.
Yeah, I was playing some acoustics when I went to see my buddy Alan McQuaid. I was trying out some. Trying out some acoustics because I'm still always thinking about maybe getting like a little one, like a parlor.
Okay, yeah.
But all the ones I was picking up, they sounded like toys, except for, of course, the Gibson that was $2,700. That one did not sound like a toy.
Yeah,
and it had a playable neck. The other ones, because they're parlor guitars, it's like the neck's so short and it goes from thin to fat like instantly, right?
Right.
And that the Gibson it felt the best. Of course, the Martin also felt very good. You know what they're doing now?
Really good. Like I don't know if you've tried new ones. I can't even get them anywhere. But they're so hard to get right now. But I played them at NAMM, and what they've done is they've made their neck a lot more like not electric, but closer to an electric guitar, but still have that acoustic characteristic. And it felt really, really good. And I think it was about $1,500 or $1,600. So it wasn't like crazy Martin.
Wasn't crazy.
$5,000 or anything. But I just can't get them anywhere. Even Cosmo, when I left Ontario, I went to Cosmo, I think the week before I left, and they still hadn't received any shipments. They said they're so backed up because Martin actually closed their factory when this COVID thing happened for quite a few months. So they're completely backed up with orders and stuff. So I don't know if we'll see one this year.
What was interesting was like when I was trying out acoustics, and some of them had a line out, but what they're doing now is, like instead of having sort of the knobs on the top and the pickup, now the pickups are inside and the knobs are inside the F hole now.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are doing that. A lot of them are doing that. So it looks like a straight up acoustic with no line out. And he's like, no, look, man.
Right in
the knobs like on the inside, right on the inside of the hole. So
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
so there's
but
some cool options out there. Brian S. bought one. Bought
yeah,
a
he just got it for his daughter.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, Yamaha
But,
makes some good stuff too.
yeah, Yamaha. I always liked Seagull. They're pretty good for the
Yeah.
price. They're Canadian.
They are Canadian, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they make some good stuff. Next time working at Sam Ash, I was looking at Fender player. Speaking of Fender, that Acoustasonic thing, I don't get it, man. Have you seen
Oh,
the
the
price?
acoustic. No. Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Like,
No.
and I played them, and they don't. I don't know. I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. Not for that price. I'd say that guitar would be like a good buy, a really fun instrument to have, a little versatile little tool to have in your studio for $600-700 max. But they're 24
Exactly.
up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. For that money, I'd rather get like a Taylor, like one of those thin body Taylors. So why not asking? Have either of us looked up any of the Godin brand acoustics?
I have, yeah.
I haven't, but I got nothing bad to say about Godin. I know the Godin, they make some they make some really good acoustic guitars. There's one I remember even's got like an EQ thing built into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, they make good stuff. Godin makes some really good stuff. I had a Godin bass back in the 90s or whatever that I purchased for, I think it was like $600. But man, the thing played amazing. Like before I switched to Ernie Ball, I think I was playing that one the most, and really good instruments, man. They put the quality gear. I think they were made out of Montreal back then. I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't know if they're
somewhere in Quebec.
Yeah,
they're in Quebec somewhere.
They are, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Guitar Man says Taylors are good. I have the 414C, really nice. Yeah, Taylors, I think that they just have a brighter tone than a Martin. A Martin to me feels a little bit of a warmer type of sound.
Yeah, the Gibson was pretty warm too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acoustasonic I know, right? Brian S says
14. Right. So that's 2,000 Canadian.
Yeah. The ones I saw at Cosmo where there was nothing less than $24.99, and some were $5,000. A couple of them that had these, like, the wood was all, it looked like it had some marbling in the wood and stuff, so it must have been it was $5,000. Yep, that's not gonna happen.
Were you talking about plants being closed? That's why it's taken me so long to get my my runt, because they closed down there, but apparently they opened back up. But I don't know. I've got 3 calls and 3 emails already in, so still waiting on an answer.
And they're probably like that everywhere, I think. I mean, you could get one in the States, but like you said, you'd have to pay for brokerage and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It cost me more, you know. Yeah. And then there's a place called Guitar Shop here that's got a JJ, right?
Yeah,
but
that amp is really good.
Oh, I know it is.
Yeah,
but it's $300 or $400 more for a channel that I'll never use. So,
do they have it's a head or a combo?
No, it's exactly what I want. It's a 20-watt head.
You should try it, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know, but I don't want to pay more money. I'm already paying over $2,000 for the friggin' Runt 20.
But you get more features out of that JJ, like even
you get that extra channel.
But even the XLR out of the JJ is different than the XLR coming out of that Runt, because I had both, and when I plugged the Runt XLR into my interface, it sounded okay, but it wasn't. When I plugged the JJ in there, it was like night and day difference as far as, I don't know if it's the IR or whatever it is that they're using that's coming out of that XLR to go into your interface. It's different than the Runt. It's not the same thing.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I thought it was identical except for another channel.
No.
Wow.
Larry Page. Yeah, no, I've seen those Larry Pages before. Larives, I don't know how you say it, but that's another Montreal guitar.
Yeah.
Brian S. got a JJ. He's got a nice one. The red. I like that red Tolex.
Yeah, the red Tolex looks cool. Yeah, very cool. The clean is the same as the Runt, but the gain channel is the BE or switch to JBE. Yeah. Well, they have a Runt combo, but I don't want a combo. I like my Marshall.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, what's the combo worth? How much is it?
It's more than the head,
Yeah.
and the head's already $2,000. So what's enough?
Yeah, they're not cheap. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Guitar Man, I have the JJ Great Amp, but it doesn't have a standby.
Oh, really? So like, if it doesn't, then the Runt definitely doesn't.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember anything about the stand. Could be. I don't remember it. It's been a while since I had the Runt for maybe 3 weeks, and I brought it back and tried something else. And then when the JJ came out, I got that for a few weeks. Not that I didn't like it. I liked it a lot. It's just, it was overkill for what I was using it for in the studio and stuff. I couldn't, like, they're loud at 20 watts. You'd think, and I don't know. I just needed something that was a little bit more manageable in a small space, because I was running that in a 212 cabinet, and it was like, too much.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
I'm running it into my 212 right over here.
It sounds amazing, but man, if you're gigging too, it's perfect. That amp, that 20 watts is perfect.
Well, I got my Hughes and Kettner up, which is 36 watts, which I've never got past, I think, 3 at a gig.
Right.
And that's the thing. So the JJ would replace that, and I would sell that to try to recoup some money. So
yeah,
I already sold. I had a Marshall 50-watt head. I sold that.
Which one was that?
I had the Origin.
Oh yeah,
it sounded great. It's Marshall. It's the whole total Marshall.
Right.
But but it was just, it's big. It would actually overhang my 212, because I put my 212 so it's vertical, right? It would overhang it. That's how big it was. And at a gig, I mean, that thing, 2 maybe, it was super loud, right? But it sounded great, and it took pedals really, really well.
Oh yeah.
But
I found the Friedman stuff takes pedals really good too.
Yeah.
There's an effects loop on both of them, I think.
There's effects loops. I believe so. Yeah.
But you don't use effects loops, do you? You go straight into the front. Yeah.
Yeah, I had this discussion the other day with somebody. Yeah, I've always ran everything into the front. I remember I toyed with an effects loop once, and I didn't like putting my delays and stuff in there.
No?
It was overbearing delay. It's like,
oh really? Yeah.
It's too much delay, man. So I don't know. I just like it. Keep it simple. 1 chord to the board, 1 chord to the amp. Done.
Yeah. JHX. What is it? Little black amp box in the effects loop of my JJ, so I can turn up the gain.
Yeah, I've got. Brian was. He had one he sent me too. So they're that's one way to crank it up.
Right.
Yeah.
DB. Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting.
Zach loves this Fender Frontman. Cool.
Zach, where do you see that? Oh, you're watching the YouTube chat.
I'm on YouTube. Yeah, it's faster.
I'm watching the other one, the StreamYard's feed.
Yeah.
It is. I like my Fender Tone Master amp. Quite honestly, I find it's a clean amp, right? It's a super clean platform, and when I plug my Helix in, whatever I'm hearing when I set up a Helix patch or whatever I'm hearing in my headphones or in my monitors, I find that I go right straight to the front of that amp too from the Helix, and it's pretty close to exactly the way that I set up the patch and I hear in my monitors. So it doesn't color the sound a lot, but then you're hearing it through a 12-inch speaker, and it's
bigger,
loud if you want to make it loud. Like I'm in this basement. This basement is a big freaking empty room, and sometimes I have my stereo, the home theater set up over there. Sometimes I'll put music in there and blast it so it's coming through the sub and everything, so it sounds really big. And then I'll crank that Fender amp and jam along with stuff, and it sounds like in a concert hall. It's super fun. But I mean, if anybody else is in the house, it's like, holy shit, man, what the hell's going on at Brian's house? Like, I'm sure if you walk outside, you walk by the house, you probably hear it, because I was blasting the other day because I was experimenting with it, but it sounds good.
Hey, hippie's in here. How's it going,
Hippie,
man?
how's it going? Hope you're doing well.
Hope everything's good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I just find a Tone Master too expensive. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, they're pricey.
Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, I paid, I think, 1,100 something plus tax, obviously, in Canada. I think they're under 1,000 in the States, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, probably.
But I mean, they have. I think the point of the Tone Master is to give you that option of a really light amp that has the modeling done right. So it's not modeling anything other than the Fender twin reverb. So they've put a lot of work and effort into just that sound. And when you play through it just as an amp, like not even with the Helix, I have a distortion pedal in that amp, and I play through it. You get the response back like if you were playing tube. So yeah, it's solid state, but it still has that characteristic, I think, and the technology they put into it where you can attenuate the sound. So if you wanted to make it, 2 watts instead of whatever, I think it's 20 or something, the max, you can do that. And it has XLR out. When I go XLR out of it into my mixer, it's still, it sounds like what I'm hearing out of the amp. So that part, it's like, it's not changing. Like some XLRs out of an amp, you'll plug it into a mixer and you'll play and it sounds completely different than what you're hearing out of the speaker, which is saying that it's doing something to your tone, obviously. With that one, I don't find it as much. Like I find it's pretty accurate. So things like that, I think they've put the work into the Tone Master, and which is probably why they're asking what they're asking for as far as the price goes. And, all that in that package with, I think it's 20 pounds, if that,
Yeah. Well, why not saying if they made it $500 Canadian, it'd outsell everything? No, guaranteed.
I agree.
Oh,
Yeah.
Totally. Everything here is too much money, man.
Yeah, I think if the market wasn't buying those things at the price that they are selling for, it would drop. But I think the market it bears that price because they are able to, sell them at that price at a pretty good volume. Because I think they're doing pretty well as far as sales with that amp.
Yeah.
You guys ever tried Johnson Millennium amps? Nope.
No, never heard of it.
Kind of like a Fender mixed with a Digitech. No, can't say it.
But that's the other thing too. Like, there's a lot more stuff you guys have in the U.S. that we don't see here.
Absolutely.
A lot of brands, because like Lon McQuaid, for example, which is like our guitar center. You want to go buy an amp, you go to Lon McQuaid. I can tell you every amp they have in that place. They carry Meza, they carry Orange, they carry Marshall, they carry Fender. Am I missing one? Oh, Trainer 5.
Yeah.
Right? Am I forgetting some?
I don't think so.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
That's
that's the same. And the
oh,
long
sorry.
McQuaid,
And using Kettner, they carry.
Yeah.
Sick.
The long McQuaid I have here in town is like just completely just combos, and they're like Fenders and Trainers and the more lower price stuff, obviously, because of the market.
That's what people buy.
Yeah.
Oh, and they carry katanas too.
Yeah,
we have katanas.
And the katanas are really good amps. I had the 100 watt artist edition or whatever it was, and I found he's right for the money. It's a really good amp.
Yeah, they are good for the money. Yeah. But there's not a lot, like, if you want to get like a PRS amp,
I know. Yeah,
you're not going to find it there. You're not going to find Friedman's there.
No.
Which is why I had to go to Cosmo. Like, there's just so much stuff that they don't carry.
I know. Yeah, Cosmo,
guitars too.
Guitars. Well,
guitars
that's why
too.
I like Cosmo so much is that you could try a Smeer, you could try a Friedman, you could try a whatever.
Yeah,
Long McQuaid will have their brands and they stick to.
That's it. Gibson, Fender, Charvel Jackson.
Do you sell your Jackson? Did you sell your Jackson?
I didn't know. What I did was I returned it. I got, after like not long, I mean, I brought it back within the month. Immediate fret sprout, like immediate.
Oh,
Like,
really?
a couple days into it, and then
Yeah.
I tried. Like, so here's the thing, right? Like, I I need to be able to go from E flat to E, and I've tried to put that thing. It was E flat. I think it was, or was it an E? I can't remember. Anyways, I tried to change it. Oh man, that Floyd just went to shit. Like,
Really?
oh my god, I'm gonna have to mess with springs and
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah. So I just took it back.
Do you still have your PRS?
No, I sold that.
You sold it. Okay.
I sold the PR. Yeah, so I sold a bunch of stuff to kind of help finance that. You
Right.
know, so Telecaster, Firebird, PRS, Marshall Head
Wow.
to cover the cost,
that.
and a Les Paul.
Right. Right.
You know,
Well,
like that thing cost me a lung.
it's worth it though, right? You play a hell of a
Oh
lot of
shit,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I play. It's always there.
Yeah.
It's the best. It was funny because Saturday night I did a show and I'm playing that, and James Severin is like super chats me. He's like, I want to hear Snots. I'm like, what? You want to
Like-
go from that to
Yeah.
Snots that cost me $1,200 used? Sure.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a special guitar. I know my R9 is like every time I play that. Yeah. I
It's
love this.
it's amazing. You need a trem stop on that Floyd. That's what I did on my jack. Yeah, that probably would have helped, Brad. Yeah. See, the thing is, I have a trem on the Ernie Ball, so if I ever want to do that sort of thing, I can use the Ernie Ball. So I do have a guitar with a whammy bar on it.
What's the trem on the Ernie Ball? Is that like a Floyd's type of setup, or is it?
No, it's proprietary,
Oh, okay.
but
But does
those
it have like tuners on it and all that stuff, or is it?
no,
Oh,
no, man. But those guys, they know how to make a guitar, man. Like Ernie Ball, that is.
yeah.
There's a reason why they cost as much as they do. Mind you, they're way more expensive now than when I bought that.
Right.
But the way they do it is, it's perfectly straight string pull because they do a 4 and 2 headstock, right?
Right. Yeah.
So there's no, bending after the nut. It's straight, and I can go to town on that, and I've done it. Like I'm just flatline it. The strings look like spaghetti, and I come back and it stays in tune. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
It's so well done, So
That's-
yeah, and I gig with it. I've gigged with it because there are certain songs where I do go, and
Mhm.
it's fine. It's
Wow.
fine. I actually just did it last week. I took it because we were starting to do some Van Halen stuff. So I took that one,
Right on.
and there's one we do a song by the Black Keys where like the guy plays the riff and then he sinks the trem. Da, 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 da. It's called Good Boy or something. I can't remember.
Okay.
I'm bad with names. Anyways, and I was and then come up, play the riff, come down, and then play the whole song, and do that again, and it no problem.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Interesting. Yeah. Some of them are like even the Friedmans, their Strat copy or whatever it is. It just has a basic trem and stuff, and I had that for a while, and I would bang on that thing, and it would never come out of tune. So some manufacturers that do it right, they really
mhm.
put the time in. It works well.
Yeah, Lonely Boy. Thank you, Brian. That's the name of the song. Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
Dirty Boy?
No, Lonely Boy. Very easy song to play too. That's a real easy song to play.
Just ship my C. DS2 kind of pushed it out.
Yeah.
Brian S has
Brian's-
had guitars in the last
Yeah, I was gonna say
whole life.
whenever I start to feel like I'm going through too many instruments, I just they get me back in perspective. I just talk to Brian and it's like,
Exactly.
you gotta put a sign outside his house. Everything must go and come and go
Yeah,
and come
It
and
keeps
go.
coming back.
Let's
Exactly.
get two flashing lights, come and go, and 4 guitars come and go.
No. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Oh
hey,
man, hey,
if you
I-
sell something and you want something different and you keep doing it, hey,
it's like
all the power to you.
I can't criticize. That's me calling the kettle
Yeah.
black. I mean, it's like
I did that for the first year a lot. Like I've gone through a lot of guitars, but I think in the current stable that I have, there's nothing that I'm willing to get rid of. I'm at that
Mhm.
point, like I want that Strat, but don't want that Strat bad enough to sell one of my Les Pauls, let's say. Like it's not
Yeah.
thing. So when you get to that point, you've got, your stable of guitars and you want another guitar and you're not willing to get rid of anything, then you got to go, oh shit, like how do I do that? Got to save up or do something else.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. Like, I mean, I'm looking around and yeah, there's really nothing I can.
Did you sell
Yeah.
your classic? The
No,
one
I
with
still have
piano?
that. The
Yeah.
P90s. Yeah, no, I was thinking about that one,
Yeah.
and that would probably, I just said that I wouldn't get rid of one, but that would probably be the first one to go because, I mean, you can't gig with that guitar. You just cannot gig with it,
Much
right?
noise.
Because it's noisy as hell, man. It's just so noisy. I mean, I can play heavy gain on the Telecast. That Telecaster, by the way, is absolutely phenomenal. Oh
Yeah.
my god, does that thing sound great? But single coils, I can high gain, no problem. Even my Strat, high gain, no problem. That thing, oh
Mm.
god, I still have nightmares about this one gig we did because when you get a guitar, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna take this to the gig. So I took it to this place, and we're playing, and every time, like I'm playing this, I play a solo in pretty much 80%, 90% of the songs. So the lead would come in, and if I had some gain on it, it's like as soon as that note would start to trail off, the noise would come up.
Oh.
And it's like, holy shit. So then I got a noise gate. Well, what the noise gate does is when that note starts to trail off, it cuts the note.
Yeah.
So it's like you're cutting the good with the bad.
Yeah, you have to
You know
set
what I
that
mean?
the threshold so low that
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you start to turn it up a little bit to kill the feedback, you're killing the note.
Have you ever
'cause it
thought of
can't
trying a
differentiate.
different pickup, a different set of P90s in there?
Well, actually, I have. I did swap out the bridge pickup. I mean, the pickups sound great. I got
Right.
one of Glenn's pickups is in my bridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's just as noisy as a
Yo.
regular P90, right? So, I mean, it's a fantastic. The guitar sounds great. I got
Yeah, you just
no.
got to deal with them.
Which I should play it some more. I've been neglecting it, but yeah, that's the reason why I would get rid of it.
Right.
It's for that reason. And I got rid of the PRS because I that was going to be my guitar. That's what I was going to gig with this year. And
Yeah. Look what happened.
where's the gigs?
Yeah. Is the rehearsal
So, like,
studio still open?
Surprisingly enough, yeah.
Wow.
And we were there last week, and we're like, we knew the lockdown was coming. We're like, well, we booked it. I'm supposed to go in Thursday.
Wow.
So
That's-
I don't know.
If it stays
yeah.
open.
I don't know. We haven't heard nothing. They haven't
Is it
called
in
us.
Peel region?
No, it's in. I guess that would be Vaughan.
So maybe
Right.
they're not locked down there?
If
Or-
that's considered outside Toronto, I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, but those places, man, I feel for them. Like rehearsal places, if they shut down, how can they make, unless the government pays the rent, like they're talking about doing, but that would be so hard.
This place, I know the guys who own it. They've been going there for years. There's two brothers that own it, and they're like hanging by the friggin' skin of their teeth, man. They're like just barely holding on. Because a lot of bands, because what happened too is like a lot of bands just stop rehearsing. Guys that would normally, because they don't want to, there's no gigs and they don't want to risk whatever, right? So they stop going. We go in, we got our masks on when we go in, and then once we're always in the big room, right? There's a big room there, which we're always in. So we're not like, we're far apart.
Right. Yeah.
I'm usually right beside. Like the other thing too is they're really they're really good to me, right? Every time I come in, they know there's got to be a marshal in that room.
Oh, yes.
Every time. So the last time I went, one of their marshals blew up or whatever, right? So like I walk in, it's like Scott's like, "Hey, don't worry, that marshal blew up that you used, but we put another one in there for you." I'm like, "Okay, great," because they have this PV head that's just Oh, it's horrible. Horrible. Right? You know? So I got the Marshall head. I know I'm going to sound good. And
How
that's
many
that.
rooms are in that place?
Oh, they got a lot. I think there's like 6 rooms, but that's the bigger one. And then the other ones, they start to get smaller and smaller.
I remember when I
So-
first moved to Toronto and I was starting to try out for bands and got into a band, a metal band, and I was rehearsing at Jane and Finch at a studio called Safe Force Studios or something like that. I don't know if you remember
I
that
think
place.
I've been to that one.
Oh my God. But the thing is that Jane and Finch, like I first moved to Toronto and I knew nothing about areas or all that stuff. And the fact that this place was at Jane and Finch, and you know what Jane and Finch is all about. It's like
Yeah,
city central for Toronto or something.
pretty much. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know any of this stuff. So here I am. I take the bus. I've got my base. You know, I'm
Holy shit.
and I'm walking from the bus stop to go to this Safe Force Studios, which is an industrial like type of complex that the bus doesn't
Right.
stop in front of there. So you have to get off the bus and kind of walk down the blocks and get to
You're lucky you didn't get stabbed.
I did that for one night and I got there and the guys at Safe Force Studio said, "Oh, as I'm leaving, where's your car or whatever?" I said, "I didn't have a car. I took the bus." And you took the bus and you walked with your bass guitars from there and you're still living. That's insane. Don't ever do that again. Call us when you get to and we'll come and get you and all that. Like they were freaking out. I had no clue. I was walking around there. I could have got mugged or whatever.
Well, it's funny because nothing happened, but yeah. Well, my kid had no idea about, Albion and where the hell was he? Albion and is it Albion and Kipling or something around there?
Right.
Yeah. And give me all your money, and they stole his phone and all this shit.
Did they? Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was
Oh my
a couple
God.
years ago. So he was like maybe 19 or something. He was flipping out.
That
Had
is
the cops
crazy.
and all that, And then when he told me what he was doing, I'm like, "What are you doing walking around there?" He's looking for fucking Pokemon or some shit. I'm like, you fucking. And then I feel guilty, right? Because I should have like street proofed him. But I thought, man, you've lived here all your life. You don't know that to go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That would be insane if you ran into a situation like that. But like I said, when I first moved to Toronto, I was going to all these places and just walking around these places because I didn't have a car. I would get on and the subway. I didn't even know how to use the subway or what, one time I wanted to go to Bloor and Yonge and I ended up right across to Kipling on the subway. Like
the very last stop. Yeah.
I'm like,
Last
I get
stop.
off and I'm like, no, you have to get off over. Like I was all over the place when I first moved to Toronto because I came from this town that I'm living in now that had one street light and maybe 6,000 people directly into Toronto. That's it. Like it was like,
that's culture shock big time.
it is. It's insane.
Yeah.
But I figured it out. 30 years later, I moved back here.
Yeah. All right, I gotta get going here, Brian.
Yeah, I think we've been going for a while.
We're going for like 2 hours or something. Yeah.
So the moral of the test was, you know what to do if you want to play music. Uncheck all those boxes in the audio settings. If you want to bring in a guest, check the box that says audio cancellation.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
So the test is that. And
All
hopefully
right.
they fix it so that you don't get that echo and you could just jam with somebody. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But who knows? Anyway, man, thank you for jumping in.
Oh, no worries, man. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem.
Everybody in the chat, take care. Hopefully we'll see you Wednesday, 8:00.
There you go.
See you then.
See you, Hack.
All right, man. Cheers.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go, folks. We had a long show tonight. We didn't expect to have a guest on, but you all know Hack, which was a good discussion to have. And we tested StreamYards a little bit, which is cool that we can do some playing, if we are, like if I'm here by myself talking, I can set those audio settings in StreamYard and still be able to play and jam along with tracks and not have it sound like crap. Well, my playing would be crap, but at least the sound coming out of the speakers on your end would not be all underwater and stuff, right? So, hey, Music Therapy Laz, you joined, but we're just finishing up, so catch the replay if you can. And Guitar Man 45, thanks for being in here. Like I said, tonight was a different show for me because I was testing stuff with StreamYard and with the phone. I was in the garage to begin the show with, and now back in the studio. So next week we'll try to get back on using the regular system if I can make sure all the bugs are worked out of it, and we'll have some fun, playing with some new stuff. Maybe we'll go over some of the Helix updates in more depth next week, and play through some sounds and some things that we can look at and answer any questions you might have. So that will be fun. And other than that, again, I remind you to send Ben a nice quick message or an email or something. Let him know you're thinking about him. He's going through some rough times right now with his mom passing away last week. So, give him your best and help him cheer him up a little bit. So until next time, I hope you guys take care of yourselves and are not too worried about all the lockdown situations and everything else that's going on. But have fun, play guitar, get out, do something cool. If you can get outdoors and enjoy some nature, helps me a lot. So hopefully that's something you guys can do as well. And with that, I will call it an evening. Thank you for joining me. Have a great night, a great week, and we will talk to you soon. All right? Take care, folks.